Millions set for a dangerous encounter with Winter Storm Gail, and the Northeast will bear the brunt of it. We're talking about the possibility of some places getting not 1, not 2, but potentially 3 feet of snow. All the big cities in play along the I-95 corridor, but the devil is in the details with a very tricky forecast that could be the difference between maybe a few inches and perhaps even a foot or more in some locations. Full coverage continues right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, coming from Frederick, Maryland. It is I got to tell you, honestly, a very pretty morning if you're a fan of winter weather. We've got gray skies, and as you can see at home, some snowflakes that are beginning to come down. They've really picked up in the last minute or so. And before the day is over, there's the potential that here in Frederick, home to some 72,000 people, that you could have another visitor, possibly a foot of snowfall. But one of the devils in the details happen to do with location, because if you were to go east from our present location, you would see those numbers and the forecast drop considerably in terms of what you can expect. However, the inverse is true. If we were to travel farther to the west and high elevation, their numbers could more than double. So again, something certainly to watch, but we're right on the dividing line. Something that we have right behind us, this line of roadway, Main Street. You see a couple of people walking along, but I'll tell you see these cars too. Right now, things are pretty great on the roadways, but we do expect that by the hours, that's going to change considerably. Icing on bridges and overpasses, that certainly is going to happen. And travel, like, say, going on parts of 70, some locations could be smooth sailing, other places could be absolutely treacherous, dangerous, and people are urged that if you don't have to get out there and travel, by all means, you know what, take it easy. Stay at home, watch the Weather Channel, keep the window. We'll keep those shades up so you can look out and see the show. Should be quite a snow globe, to say the very least. Now, let's make our way back to Alex Wallace with more of the latest. Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Reynolds. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that scene there looks a lot different at this time tomorrow. Well, Winter Storm Gail all over the map in the eastern part of the country right now, from Cincinnati, catching a bit of a wintry mix this morning here. That includes some snow, freezing rain, sleet. Hagerstown, Maryland, expecting some heavy snow throughout the day and into the evening. And then Asheville, North Carolina, where freezing rain and sleet, that was an issue earlier. Now looking ahead to some steady rain and patchy fog. So yeah, we've got a lot of areas feeling the impacts now and more to come. Here's what it looks like on the radar, and we are no doubt here in the eastern third of the country a bit unsettled. Northbound, the wintry weather. You head south, you get into the rain, some showers as well as storms. We've been watching that moving its way across the Apalachicola area, the Big Bend of Florida, seeing a bit of that, and then moving northbound, more showers here. That's moved now just east of Atlanta, some of that rain, but we still have more back towards parts of Alabama into Tennessee. North Carolina kind of split in two. That eastern half is where we're finding most of the rain in places like Raleigh, but as you work your way a little bit farther on off towards the west, that's where you get into a little bit of the freezing rain. We've been watching that around the Boone area, and then certainly into Virginia. We've seen some freezing rain and some icing showing up there around the Roanoke area. Then we get to some of the snow. Charlottesville, you're seeing that right now, spreading up into now western parts of Maryland, getting in on some of that snowy weather as well. Cleveland knocking on your door, a few snow showers, and we've been watching the snow back across the west of the Midwest, mostly east of St. Louis at this point. Lighter snows, but still some snow showers around. And this is an area that has seen the snow over the last 24 hours adding up. A couple of inches here and there, just north and west of Indy. We've seen some reports of 3-4 inches of some of that snow adding up here over the last 24 hours. So that snow going on there, but we'll see more filling in here into the Northeast. Right now it's dry in Philly and New York, back up towards Syracuse, but all those areas you can see what is headed in that general direction, so get ready for that. All right, let's focus in on a bit farther to the south here into the Mid-Atlantic region, where we have winter weather advisories. In fact, even into north portions of Georgia, around Helen. Some of those North Georgia mountains there dealing with winter weather advisories. Those are some of the areas that we're concerned with dealing with some of the icing. In fact, again, you can see on the radar, that's where we have it. Those pink shades showing up, icing there in southern parts of Virginia, and a bit here getting it down onto North Carolina as well. Let's get into some of the temperatures and what we're seeing right now. 31 in Roanoke. Freezing rain being reported there. We've seen freezing rain being reported around Lynchburg at times, going from cloudy to freezing rain there. So in all these areas here, just got to take it slow, take it easy. In fact, if you can avoid being out there on the roads, that would be the best bet. You don't want to have to deal with freezing rain. Ice, just the worst of situations, right? All right, so as we work through the day, this is how it plays out. We'll continue to deal with some of that frozen precipitation. Now, as we work through the afternoon, temperatures may bump up just a notch, and that allows us to get rid of the freezing rain and go over to dealing with mostly a rain and kind of snow mix. That's what we're anticipating there for us in places like Roanoke. Rain for you across a good chunk of North Carolina. The exception is you get into some of the higher terrain where we may be hanging out with some snow. Western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, a little bit longer heading on into tonight and the early portions of tomorrow morning as well. But for the most part, part, by tomorrow morning, basically we're done with all of our issues here in terms of the precipitation. So again, right along this zone here from Roanoke back over towards the Lynchburg area, rain and snow mixing in here and there. Temperatures bumping up. So there you go. Once we get in towards this afternoon, early evening, we do notice those things going over to rain and then a quick burst of snow before we come to an end heading into tomorrow morning. All right, so we've got issues here farther south, but heading north, that's where we're really going to be watching the snow piling up. And Dr. Postel, you've got a bit more on how much we could see.
A lot. And that's kind of an understatement in some cases. But we do know this winter storm is making a beeline for the Northeast and will unleash significant snow that could reach maybe in some spots, let's say in the Poconos or the Catskills of New York, West Berkshires of western Massachusetts, maybe 18 to 24 inches. That's not out of the question. We got a couple of live shots for you. New York, 29 degrees. Wow, cold. 18 in Boston. Now, I want to talk about this because that's really important. The fact that it is 18 degrees in Boston tells you that there's a lot of cold air already in place in the Northeast, that it's not going to get out of the way and keep it an all-snow event. Yeah, probably even for parts of coastal Connecticut. How often do you see an all-snow event in coastal Connecticut and Rhode Island when you have a low-pressure system along the New Jersey shore, essentially? That tells you how strong this cold air is. It's not moving out of the way. Right now, we've got all kinds of precip. Alex was talking about some of the freezing precipitation in western North Carolina and Virginia. We are starting to see some snow in northern Virginia and just to the west of D.C. I do think D.C. we do start out, Baltimore likely as well, as snow in many places in Pennsylvania, but then we'll go over to rain eventually. It does look like that will be the case in the mid-Atlantic. Now, it looks like it's snowing here across parts of Pennsylvania, but it's not. And that's important, too, because it tells you that the air is very cold and dry. That cold and dry air is allowing that precip to evaporate before it hits the ground. It's called virga. So even though the radar looks like it's snowing, it won't yet. A couple more hours before we moisten it up and get that snow really cranking. 1 o'clock this afternoon. D.C. may be transitioning over to rain. We'll watch that carefully. But there's about the rain-snow line at 4 o'clock this afternoon. This is a really tough call along the I-95 corridor and even areas just to the west. I'll include Philly in that discussion, maybe even Allentown, Bethlehem. We'll watch that. By 9 o'clock tonight or so, the guidance is telling us that there'll be a lot of warm air loft coming in off the Atlantic. Not near the ground. That cold air is hugging the ground, especially in interior sections. But that warm air loft may indeed allow some of the transition over to sleet just along and to the northwest of where that rain-snow transition is I'm showing you now. So watch out for the possibility of some sleet mixing in, and that would significantly reduce snowfall amounts in eastern Pennsylvania. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but it is one of those forecast tricks that you've got to watch out for. The other part of it is that tomorrow morning, it may indeed be snowing really hard in New Haven, in Greenwich, Connecticut. How about that? Snow all the way to the coast and continuing throughout much of the afternoon and likely through the late afternoon in eastern New England before it moves away. Snowfall amounts, this is my last graphic. You can see that incredible gradient right across that I-95 corridor. There is a potential for a forecast bust, I think, to not get nearly as much just on the northwest side of I-95. But again, something to watch out and figure out as we go through the evening hours. But the big winners, likely there, Reynolds, western Massachusetts, central New York State, and northern PA. Back to you.
All right, Dr. Postel, I got to tell you what, tough guy, last couple of minutes or so, we've seen the snow really begin to come down in earnest. I mean, the confetti is falling, and it's going to pile up possibly close to a foot in some locations. So let's dive into the maps for a moment, give you an idea of what's happening. You see our location up here in beautiful Frederick, and we see some not-so-beautiful weather, unless you're a fan of the snow. If you're a fan of the snow, you're going to enjoy this. This is going to be sweeping its way on through. Please be careful out on those roadways because bridges and overpasses are going to be slick. Whether they are treated or not, despite the great job they do on the roadways. And they all work very hard. Again, tip of the cap to the men and women out there. But they can't get every single spot spick and span free. You're going to have slick spots, so be careful out there. We roll forward in time. And speaking of the road temperatures, you see them out there. Some locations are well above the freezing point. Some are very close. Others are going to be below. But it's during the nighttime hours when those temperatures are going to take a nosedive. And bridges and overpasses is always a bit more susceptible. Now, As it looks in terms of the precipitation, it really is going to be a mix. In some locations where it stays well above the freezing point, like, for example, in D.C., I think in and around the Beltway, it's going to be a rain story. Same can be said for Annapolis, places like Baltimore, too. However, you go back a bit more towards the west and north, everything changes. It really does. You have the kaleidoscope changing over all the snow and some sleet. And as by the time all things get done, snow still to come in places like Frederick. Again, we mentioned mainly north of downtown Frederick. Up here in the old town, I think that's where we have a better chance of getting, say, 10 plus, maybe as much as 12, maybe some spots as much as 14. But remember, too, with the wind that picks up, you will have drifts that could be a bit higher. And it kind of makes things a little bit scattered, so to speak, where in some locations in town you could have, say, around 4 to 5. But then you turn a corner where the wind has been causing it to pile up. You could have 18 inches of snow. Certainly is possible. However, this is certainly not going to be the only place affected. In fact, if we were to grow wings and go a bit more to the north, we find ourselves in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, to be exact. That's where Jim Cantori has the story. Jim.
And welcome into Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Through here, we did not get much snow in the entire state of Pennsylvania all of last year, and really even the year before that there wasn't much. And December snowfalls are pretty rare, especially in Philadelphia. But we are going to change come later on this afternoon. The state of emergency has already been declared by the governor. We've had virtual learning, so schools aren't going to be an issue in through here. Same thing with the restaurants. People obviously cannot dine indoors. Also, a lot of this snow will come in during the overnight hours, at least the crippling snow, the 1 to 3 inch per hour snowfall rates. But that doesn't mean they're not ready. Check this out. You can already see the brine solutions on the roads. And I saw this last night as we made our way all the way from the Philadelphia airport up here into Bethlehem, which is almost 60 miles. OK, but this is what we see. The streets are ready to deal with this thing, and so are the people. But you can help the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation by staying off the roads. As a matter of fact, they are going to several vehicles. Just going to help them back up and running so much faster. Hey, I want to take you back to earlier this morning when we are on the roof at the Hotel Bethlehem. Treated to an incredible meteorological phenomenon. These are Kelvin Helmholtz waves. All right, and typically how these form is it really can form in advance of a storm because you have faster moving winds, you know, just above the stable layer in the atmosphere, which is we were down at the surface, so we're looking up at these. And this is the warm, moist air coming in from the south ahead of our big trough. And they can get to rolling and make little curvature. So great job from my photographer, Chris Erickson, for filming these and showing them to you here this morning. And, of course, it's always a sight to see the atmosphere at work. If you're a pilot, you never want to be anywhere near those what we call rotors or Kelvin Helmholtz waves. All right, guys, we are ready to hammer this afternoon here in Bethlehem. Get what you've done this morning, and then later on this afternoon, hunker down and get ready for Mother Nature to put on quite a show. And if we're lucky, a little thunder snow and a little thunder sleet to boot. We'll see.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. And as we focus in on what's going on here, as we time things out here for us, there comes some of the snow trying to sneak its way to the north and the east. Now, what we're seeing here in Pennsylvania, at least the central areas east, not seeing a whole lot reaching the ground just yet. We are, though, in Pittsburgh, light snow being reported there, but eventually all those areas will be getting that precipitation to reach the ground. Philadelphia, this is a spot that'll be getting in on some of this wintry weather as well. Not quite there just yet, but as we head through the day, this is what we are thinking. Watch them monitor those temperatures. Philly's going to be it's going to be a tough call in and around Philadelphia, particularly as you head south of town. You can see here, this is by about 3 o'clock or so. West, snow, will be deep snow there, but you head to Woodstown, the Glassboro area. These areas here, again, just a little shift, and we could be in the heart of snow or nothing and just dealing with rain. So we're going to have to monitor what's going on there right along that 95 corridor through Philly as we head on through tonight. Decent shot there that will go over to mostly rain, but then switch back over briefly as we get into Thursday morning to some snow as the temperatures come down just a bit. So again, you're going to be right on that edge there in Philadelphia. There's the city itself. And again, if you shift the line that way just a bit, Philadelphia doesn't see much snow at all, but shift the line that way, Well, you could be going to now 7, 8, 10, 12 inches of snow. So there's a high degree of difficulty here for us in Philadelphia in terms of what you'll see in and around the city. That line shifts. That could make quite a bit of a difference in what you deal with there. So working through the day, we'll watch this whole mass continue to work its way north and eastbound. And again, there's that kind of rain-snow line. D.C. to Baltimore, you're in there as well. New York City, I think a decent bet you'll be dealing with mostly snow from this. Through the overnight hours, you can see here across a good chunk of Pennsylvania, you're solidly in the blue. Scranton to State College, Pittsburgh as well, and then spreading its way into New England through Thursday morning, where the snow is expected to wind down as we head on through Thursday afternoon. So watch these areas closely on that rain-snow line. It's going to be interesting to see where that all sets up. All right, let's work our way back to Reynolds, checking on things there in Maryland.
I got to tell you, Alex, we've pulled back the curtains, and now we've got the snow show. And it has been coming down earnestly, I'd say, over the last 45 minutes or so, but really beginning to pick up. And you'll notice behind me, some of it's starting to stack up in a few locations. But this is really the early stages of a show that's really going to continue over the next several hours and possibly through tomorrow morning. Some locations up to maybe a foot for even here in the great town of Frederick. Full coverage continues here on the Weather Channel. It is all about Winter Storm Gail, and it's all about you staying safe and warm. See you in a few moments.
Hey! Yeah? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance? They helped with homeowners, too. Okay. Plus, motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance. Geico's got you covered. Like a blanket.
Houston, you seeing this?
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or drive up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
Did you know that some aluminum-free deodorants only mask odor? Secret Aluminum Free helps eliminate odor instead of just masking it, and is made with 3 times more odor fighters. With Secret, keep it fresh every day. Secret.
These both have the same amount of potassium. Only one of them is always right for the picking. V8, the original plant-powered drink. Veg up.
I'm a Verizon engineer, part of the team that built 5G right. We started with America's most reliable network, added 5G nationwide for millions of Americans, and the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband in more and more places where people need massive capacity and ultra-low lag. I'm proud ultra-wideband was named the fastest 5G in the world, but I'm even more proud all that work is going to make a real difference for you. This is the 5G America's been waiting for, only from Verizon.
Frisky's World. Look at that!
It's made with real farm-raised chicken.
I gotta get my paws on that.
It's Frisky's farm favorites.
The winning formula.
Feed their fantasy.
Friskies. Look, Frisky's ocean favorites. Yum!
Here we go! Where else can you get this type of drama? Where else does history hang from the rafters? Where else is your own city home to your biggest rivals?
And 30 feet is still in range.
Where else can a city this loud be this slept on?
Where else is history still in the making?
Oh my goodness!
Where else?
Two medical societies have strongly recommended to doctors to treat acute non-low back muscle and joint pain with topical NSAIDs first. A formulation they recommend can be found in Salonpas. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
If you're struggling with an alcohol or drug addiction, Recovery Centers of America can help.
Recovery Centers of America is a leading accredited addiction treatment provider across the United States and near your home. Our facilities provide detoxification and residential inpatient treatment, as well as outpatient services.
Our team of healthcare professionals can help you recover from addiction starting today. We answer the phone and admit patients 24/7. Call us now.
Two medical societies have strongly recommended to doctors to treat acute non-low back muscle and joint pain with topical NSAIDs first. A formulation they recommend can be found in Salonpas. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
stop these crews from opening up the road. Don't miss all new episodes of Heavy Rescue Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Novartis.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 31 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, snow developing during the afternoon, high 34. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times, low 32. Thursday, windy with morning snow, high 35. Here's our 7-day outlook.
I watch the weather. And I talk about the weather. When everyone else on the plane is watching movies, I'm looking out the window. Out there, big puffy mountains float. I can watch lightning being born. They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
Wow, it truly speaks to the heart of so many weather people, and certainly people love the weather at the Weather Channel. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and like you saw there just moments ago, that little bit of a narrative, we did some traveling at the Weather Channel. I flew in from Atlanta to Reagan National yesterday, got a rental car, and then drove up here to beautiful Frederick. And the skies yesterday were completely opposite. Beautiful cobalt blue, not a care in the world, very, very easy driving. But what happened then is going to be very, very different now. In fact, you look at your travel across parts of the region, it's going to be difficult. Your Subaru Safe Driving Guide really shows you the story that we have, and it is going to go from damp conditions, to say the very least, to icy, to snow, a little bit of everything out there. So a very, very messy day, no question about it. So please be careful when you are out and about. Meanwhile, we make our way to Washington, D.C., and we do see some of the switchover, some frozen precipitation going in, but not expecting a great deal inside or around the Beltway. However, you go a bit farther back out towards the west, things get crazy in terms of the numbers. They will be on the uptick, no question about it, possibly around a foot or so at our location, and then even more to the north and farther to the west at high elevation. Now, again in D.C., you see it beginning to switch over lunchtime to the evening hours. By evening, a lot of that frozen precipitation in D.C. is going to switch over to all rain. So, again, not expecting major accumulation. Now, in New York, it's going to be the opposite, where it starts off quietly, but more with a snowy and icy finish by later in the day. So regardless, please be careful out there. No doubt about it. Really take it easy when you're out and about. A lot of the key things is you got to use common sense, right, Dr. Postel? I mean, Dr. Postel, you're a guy grew up in much of the Northeast. You're from Princeton, for heaven's sake. You got to know that if you're going to be on the roads and you have icy conditions, slow and go or avoid it if at all possible. Back to you.
Sage advice, my friend Reynolds. Let's have a live look now at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. 24 degrees. That is a sky that tells you a snowstorm is on the way. And a winter storm warning is currently in effect for Bethlehem, situated right in the bullseye or close to it for significant snow as this winter storm tracks into the Northeast. Let's track this winter storm into the Northeast, beginning at, let's say, I don't know, 1 o'clock this afternoon. You'll be able to see, I think, maybe some more rain creep into parts of the picture and a real rain-snow line begin to set up. Let's look at the map. Let's go to the forecast. And there it is. The distinction between the blue and the green, well, that's the rain snow line for the I-95 corridor, and it will likely set up very near there. Now, it's a very complicated forecast, and we have to watch out for the trends, even this afternoon and this evening, to really understand how much snow is going to fall in certain places, because there is some suggestion that there will be enough warm wind aloft coming in off the Atlantic to perhaps make it a significant sleet event for areas in and around Philadelphia or just west of that I-95 zone from Philly to New York. So let's say western New Jersey or southeastern Pennsylvania. There may be a significant reduction in snowfall amounts because of that possibility. Again, it's not entirely clear that's going to happen, but it is one option on the table that we need to watch for when we look at the snowfall amounts. If you go farther inland, of course, in Pennsylvania, New York State, and interior New England, we are going to get clobbered with snow and wind as well throughout the night and into early morning hours. Snowfall rates may exceed 2 inches per hour in spots. And I can show you that as the system moves away late tomorrow, we will have left a significant footprint of snow in excess of a foot. And you can see that many areas, especially in northern Pennsylvania and parts of the Catskills and the Berkshires, we will likely see 2 feet in some cases. One of the reasons why is that very same warm air flow coming in off the Atlantic, which may make it trouble for snowfall accumulations in this zone. Farther inland will likely lead to a very significant amount of snow because that warm air coming in off the Atlantic is ascending. It is lifting, Alex. That is going to support very heavy snowfall rates, maybe even some thunder snow overnight tonight in some of those zones. Back to you.
Hey, an area to watch, no doubt. Another area to watch farther south where we get away from the wintry weather and deal with storms. Some of those could be severe. Now, we've got wet conditions now, eastern North Carolina, nothing severe. But as we head through the day, that may change. You can see as we put the radar into future mode, look at some of the lines of showers and storms moving across the eastern part of the state, even working its way towards the Outer Banks as well. Looking very unsettled with these showers and storms as we work through the afternoon into the rush hour time frame. And even as we get into tonight, still some lingering showers around before things start to dry out. But again, there's that opportunity for some stronger storms. Anywhere you see that red for the day, possibility for severe weather. Wind, that's going to be one of the bigger risks. Isolated tornado risk is there for us as well. That's why we do have Torcon values here in the 2 to 3 range here. So we do have that opportunity. It's not a huge risk, but it's not a zero risk. We're going to be watching these areas closely as we head on through our day. And then farther south, also dealing with some storms, pushing on through parts of northern Florida at the hour. Those will continue to slide towards the east as we head on through the rest of this afternoon. And again, some of these could pack a bit of a punch with the potential for some severe weather. When we return, more on Winter Storm Gail and its impacts.
The Lab, brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Not gonna lie, Jake from State Farm. That Daniel deal got me some sweet savings on my insurance.
Daniel, State Farm offers surprisingly great rates to everyone.
Sure you do. Tell you what, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll let you try the chunk, honey.
Oh, I'm good. Here's the deal. Great rates, kinda our thing.
You wanna meet the queen?
I'm not dressed for that. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or drive up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
Get ready. Our most popular battery is now even more powerful. The stronger, lasts longer Energizer Max.
Freezing cold, blazing heat. Rain-X premium silicone wiper blades are engineered to withstand the most extreme conditions. They last 2 times longer than traditional wipers. If Rain-X premium silicone wipers survive these conditions, clearly they'll last in yours. Rain-X, outsmart the elements. Find Rain-X silicone wipers at these retailers.
Okay, everyone,
Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Shake is when the peppermint shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
Frisky's World. Look!
They're ramping it up with real meat and fish.
Now sauce it!
Frisky's stuffed and sauced, flavor-filled.
Flavor grilled!
It's mealtime magic.
Feed their fantasy.
Friskies. Look! Frisky's little soups and little grillers. Tasty.
It's grilled cheese time. Yeah, it's time for grilled cheese. After we make a grilled cheese, then we're eating grilled cheese because it's time. Yeah, time for grilled cheese.
When you're camping with friends and you get the biggest spot and you swam in the river all day in the warm afternoon sun, that's pure gold.
Is skincare from around the world better than Olay? Olay Regenerist faced 131 premium products from 12 countries over 10 years. Olay's hydration was unbeaten every time. Face anything. Find out more at Olay.com.
The first ingredient in this Cliff Bar is brown rice syrup, which is another name for sugar. In this Kind Bar, it's heart-healthy almonds with the taste of dark chocolate and 75% less sugar than the leading Cliff Bar. Be kind to yourself.
This holiday, find stylish gifts for all the diamonds in your life. Get 30% off everything and find one-of-a-kind deals at the You Are My Diamond event. Now extended through December 19th. Shop online with a virtual consultant. Zales, the Diamond Store.
Welcome back to full coverage on the Weather Channel. It's all about Winter Storm Gail, and let's get you up to speed with what we know at this hour. Winter Storm Gail building in intensity. Let's get you again up with the latest. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf has signed a disaster emergency proclamation. New Jersey Department of Transportation has more than 400 pieces of equipment that have been deployed, and outdoor dining and alternate side parking have been suspended in New York City. Again, welcome back. And the scene that we have for you from Frederick, Maryland is a snowy one. You can see it coming down, and certainly here, this pathway, which a short while ago was relatively clear, is beginning to stack up, and we expect even more in this part of the world. But what about other places in Maryland? Well, with the magic of modern technology, we take you to Wisp Resort into Western Maryland, and you see that? Yeah, you've got some snow coming down, people out there shred the gnar. That's right, some skiers, snowboarders getting out there and making the most of their time. And it is a glorious day if you are into winter sports. But I'll tell you what, for some people, if you have to drive, today can be extremely dangerous. So please be careful. Use extreme caution if you have to go out and about. You know what? If you feel like you're all alone in this situation dealing with the snow, you're not. In fact, 95 million people around America dealing with this winter weather. And the story, not just in the Northeast or in the Great Lakes, but you also notice in parts of the Northern Rockies and back into the Cascades, too. The story that we have here, farther south you go, you run into warmer air, and with it, it is rain that is coming down. But in our present location and points north, you see the transformation from raindrops to sleet to some snow, and some of it could be coming down quite heavily. Rolling forward in time, we see it, again, just really sweeping over parts of the Outer Banks in terms of rainfall. High elevation is going to really determine where we can see some of the heavier snowfall amounts. In fact, where we happen to be here in Frederick, they average 20.5 inches of snowfall a year. However, you go back some 20 miles to our west, and that number more than doubles annually. Now, to continue the snowfall in terms of the winter weather advisories, we advise you that we've got the winter storm watches, the warnings, and notice they decorate from high elevation all the way up into parts of the 95 corridor. I'd say the Presidential Range, the White Mountains, the Green Mountains, Catskills, all being affected by these messy conditions. But notice, these alerts continue down into the spine of the Blue Ridge Parkway, even into northern Georgia. Not out of the question that we could deal with some of this frozen precip, so just be careful. One man who knows frozen precipitation better than most, Dr. Greg Postel, and he's keeping a sharp eye on the system. What do you think will be the high side? Do you think by the time this ends, Dr. Postel, we could have some totals that could range 2-3 feet? Is it possible?
It's possible. I think 3 feet's a bit high, but maybe 2 feet in some spots. I think that's kind of where, yeah, I think maybe we got a shot at some of those amounts in interior Pennsylvania. north central PA and in parts of central and southern New York State and even maybe western Massachusetts in the Catskills and Berkshires. But many locations along into the east of I-95 will probably deal with mostly rain throughout this event. It's already got a lot of complex features to it. We've got snow, we've got freezing rain, we've got it all. And each one of those is a problem for travelers. So be very careful if you're traveling in Western Virginia. There is a lot of messy precipitation types. We got some snow in Northern Virginia, but then Roanoke, Danville, Greensboro even recently reporting freezing rain, which is the worst and the most dangerous of all the travel types because you have the rain coming down and you think it's raining, but it's freezing on contact and making a glaze of ice over everything. That's a real problem. And we are seeing some of that in those zones of pink. I think even here we'll eventually get over the rain, but not maybe for a couple more hours of that potential dangerous traveling condition. Farther to the north, it looks like it's snowing a lot over eastern PA and even central PA. We're getting some reports, but the air is very cold at the surface and extremely dry in the subcloud layer. So while the radar is picking up the snow coming down aloft, it's evaporating before it hits the ground. So it's called virga. It's falling down and not making it to the ground. That will change too, as that snow will eventually make it to the ground and come down very hard in spots as the atmosphere moistens up. But I want to point out one zone of interest that I've got my eye on. Right along that transition, if you can allow my drawing to come into this max, that would be great. The I-95 corridor. I think even areas just to the west of Philadelphia, somewhere in that zone. I'm drawing on this map, but you can't see it. There you go. We have to watch out for the transition of sleet tonight. No guarantees, but there is that possibility because of that warmer wind aloft, allowing a warm layer at about 10,000 feet up to change the snow over to sleet, and that would reduce the snowfall amounts by a lot, let's say, in eastern Pennsylvania and western New Jersey. Not saying it's going to happen for sure, but it's something to watch. The trends, though, of course, continue to unload a ton of snow in New York State, western, and even, look, coastal Connecticut. How about that? For a low-pressure system very close to the Jersey Shore, bringing all snow to places like New Haven and Providence. Wow, this is one to remember. It doesn't happen that often. But we are going to get a lot of snow. There's the southern part of it, and here's where the bullseye is across parts of New England and New York State. We'll be right back with much more on Gail.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or drive up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
This holiday season, choose the longest-lasting AA battery. Energizer Ultimate Lithium. Backed by science, matched by no one.
I'm so thankful to you, to you, to you, to you.
Mom! Yeah? I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet. I'm bleeding. Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want?
Wendy's Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that's got all other cheeseburgers feeling like. And now with the Breakfast Baconator, we're shaking and waking up your breakfast, bringing that big bacon energy all day long. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating.
It's open.
Hi. Think you're managing your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease?
Are you okay?
I did. But even when I was there, I never knew when my symptoms would keep us apart. So I talked to my doctor and learned Humira is for people who still have UC or Crohn's symptoms after trying other medications. And Humira helps people achieve remission that can last, so you can experience few or no symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
All right, I brought in Ensure Max Protein to give you the protein you need with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein with nutrients to support immune health.
Fairlife is milk that gives you more. It's ultra filtered for 50% more protein and 50% less sugar. This holiday, bring more to the table with Fairlife ultra filtered milk.
Research shows people remember commercials with nostalgia. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, here's one that'll really take you back.
Wow!
What'd you get, Ryan?
It's customized home insurance from Liberty Mutual.
What does it do, bud?
It customizes our home insurance so we only pay for what we need.
And what did you get, Mike?
I got a bike.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Is skincare from around the world better than Olay? Olay Regenerist face 131 premium products from 12 countries over 10 years. Olay's hydration was unbeaten every time. Face anything.
Find out more at Olay.com.
I watch the weather, and I talk about the weather. When everyone else on the plane is watching movies, I'm looking out the window. Out there, big puffy mountains float. They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
What in the name of Ben Roethlisberger is happening here? Here's a shot that you have above Heinz Field showing you the view from down below. And I'm telling you, it is a snow globe there. You see the snow coming down. And right now, from that present location to where we happen to be in Maryland, it is all a snow globe. Welcome back, everyone, to continued coverage here on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf. And you got snow on the hat. And look at that. You got snow all the way around us. Now, when we first came out here a few hours ago, there wasn't a flurry. But now you'll notice we see them coming down by the thousands, by the millions. And sure enough, they're going to continue through a good part of the afternoon into the evening hours. And by the time all is said and done, we could see some locations with a foot, perhaps even more. But remember that wind really does play a big part in the story. And when winds do pick up, especially around some of these buildings, it would not be out of the question to see some drifts up to maybe 18 inches in some spots, but also lower in a few other locations, as low as maybe 2 to 3 or even 4 inches. But right now, you take a look at the graphics and you see the snow beginning to pick up. And sure enough, I'll tell you, really a dividing line where we happen to be. If you go from our vantage point clear into D.C., you'll see lesser amounts of precipitation, but the inverse is true. You go farther west or north, different story altogether. You're going to see higher amounts begin to stack up. Road conditions, how are they? It really depends on where you happen to be. In some places it's going to be okay. Problem is, as we roll forward and we have some of those temperatures right at or near the freezing point, it's going to be more of a problem. Roads have been pre-treated. They've done a bang-up job, a wonderful job out there, but still, even with the greatest technology and the hardworking men and women out there, there will still be some ice on the roadways. Be careful out there. Truly be careful. And if you don't have to travel all together, that's certainly your best option. You see in D.C. the story of the rain that's going to kind of switch over a bit, eventually just some snow. But it does look like rain is going to be the issue mainly into the afternoon. So not major accumulation expected there, but certainly we'll have more on what you can expect, not just here, but for millions of you across much of the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. Alex, let's send it right back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Reynolds. Well, driving in winter weather conditions, that can be very hazardous. If you have to travel through an area that typically experiences snow and ice, well, you got to be pay extra attention and use precautions that drivers must take. Meteorologist Mike Bettis has some of the details on how you can navigate those roads.
Snow and ice can cause big problems on the road this time of year, and according to the National Safety Council, nearly 6,000 people are killed every year in weather-related traffic accidents. Here are 5 things that can help you weather the road. First, be prepared. Make sure your car is ready for the elements. Check your tires, including the spare, to make sure they have plenty of tread and are properly inflated. Also, check your battery, windshield wipers, and your antifreeze levels. Pack emergency essentials like a first aid kit, a blanket, food, and water just in case you get stranded. Second, before you head out, clear your windows, mirrors, headlights, and taillights so you can see and people can see you. Also, clear the exhaust pipe of any ice or snow. A clogged pipe can cause carbon monoxide to back up in your car. Third, make sure your phone is and tell someone where you're going and when you plan to arrive. Keep a close eye on the weather reports. Fourth, while on the road, slow down. Leave 3 times more space between you and the car in front of you. Fifth, know what kind of brakes you have. If you begin to slide and you have anti-lock brakes, step on the pedal, stay on the pedal, and steer in the direction you want to go. A little steering goes a long way. If you don't have anti-lock brakes, push on the brake pedal and pump the brakes quickly. This will help you get maximum grip on the road. And having all-wheel drive isn't magic. It can help you get going on snow or ice, but it isn't any more help when you need to stop. You still need to drive slowly and watch out for other motorists. But the best thing you can do in bad weather is just stay home and stay off the roads. That frees up emergency services to deal with emergencies instead of rounding up stranded motorists.
All right, well, we want to bring in Dr. Postel to talk a bit more about this snow right along that I-95 corridor. And Dr. Postel, that line always seems to be a troublesome line when it comes to wintry storms.
Yeah, it sure does. And Alex, you know, I tweeted this out yesterday and thinking to myself, you know, you can have a really good forecast by lots of measures, right? You could be off by a couple degrees and no one would care and think that's a really good forecast. But if you're off by right at freezing line and you are dealing with the transition of rain to snow or snow to rain, a little forecast error could give you a very, very different outcome. One that would otherwise be acceptable becomes unacceptable when we're talking about rain and snow. That's just the way Mother Nature is, and it makes a very difficult job for us forecasters trying to do the snow. So you can see there's I-95 right there. It looks like Barron's, Jersey, Princeton. I think you're right in line. You're right on the borderline there between getting significant snow. But eastern PA is also one of those areas that I want to watch very carefully. North and west of even Philadelphia and into western New Jersey, because there's a shot that overnight tonight we get some sleet mixed in as some warm air aloft tries to come in and make it a complicated mess of precipitation types overnight tonight, which would probably even reduce some snowfall amounts even than what we've got now. So you can see that rain snow line. There it is. How about this at 1 a.m.? There's that sleet, and there may be more of it, Alex, than we're even showing here on the forecast.
All right, Doc, suppose one place to watch. Well, it's time now for your cold and flu tracker. And this is the time of the year that we really start to notice the numbers really climbing. But this year so far, cold and flu numbers have been kept at bay. Right now, only 4 states are dealing with low numbers.
This cold and flu tracker brought to you by TheraFlu. Powerful relief so you can restore and recover.
When you're through with powering through, it's time for TheraFlu. Hot liquid medicine. Powerful relief so you can restore and recover. TheraFlu. Hot beats cold.
These days, we want sophisticated but simple. Cutting edge, made user-friendly. In other words, we want a hybrid. And so do retailers, which is why they're going hybrid with IBM. A hybrid cloud approach with Watson AI helps manage supply chains while predicting demands with ease. From retail to healthcare, businesses are going with a smarter hybrid cloud using the tools, platform, and expertise of IBM.
Frisky's World. Look at that!
It's made with real farm-raised chicken.
I gotta get my paws on that.
It's Frisky's farm favorites.
The winning formula.
Feed their fantasy.
Friskies. Look, Frisky's ocean favorites. Yum!
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Shake is when the peppermint shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
The first ingredient in this Cliff Bar is brown rice syrup, which is another name for sugar. In this Kind Bar, it's heart-healthy almonds with the taste of dark chocolate and 75% less sugar than the leading Cliff Bar. Be kind to yourself.
I'm a Verizon engineer, part of the team that built 5G right. We started with America's most reliable network, added 5G nationwide for millions of Americans, and the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband in more and more places where people need massive capacity and ultra-low lag. I'm proud ultra-wideband was named the fastest 5G in the world. But I'm even more proud all that work is going to make a real difference for you. This is the 5G America's been waiting for, only from Verizon.
For some of us, our daily journey is a short one. Save 50% when you pay per mile with Allstate. Pay less when you drive less. you've never been in better hands. Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
This is the Jones family.
We have a good deal on our wireless plan.
Are you sure? Spectrum Mobile can do better. How many lines do you have?
4.
And how much data do you use?
Graham and I email and text, but these two share and stream tons of videos.
And how much are you paying per month? Don't forget those added taxes and fees and surcharges.
Oh, then $220.
Spectrum Mobile lets you customize your plans. You and Grandma can be in our Buy the Gig plan with shareable data, and your wife and daughter can be in our unlimited data plan. Offer $118 per month with no taxes and fees. Spectrum Mobile has the best data plans for your family. All plans include unlimited talk and text with no contracts. See? I proved you could save within minutes. Now it's your turn. Grab your bill and see how much you can save. Visit spectrummobile.com/usave to calculate your savings in 3 easy steps. Or call us at 1-833-295-7283 and we'll do it for you.
Join us on our mission to be informed and inspired. Pattern. Available on your favorite platforms.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 31 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, snow developing during the afternoon, high 34. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times, low 32. Thursday, windy with morning snow, high 35. Here's our 7-day outlook.
In a 27-year career in broadcast meteorology, I can't tell you how many times I am blown away by how quickly things can change when it comes to weather. And that certainly has been the case right here in beautiful Frederick, Maryland, where we had yesterday just beautiful blue skies, really not a care in the world. And right now, you see that we're now with the snow globe. It has changed considerably. Compliments of Winter Storm Gail, a system that will be affecting millions of people over the next several hours and days, certainly. And some locations will see just a faint bit of evidence when it comes to snow. Maybe a few flurries here or there. In Washington, D.C., could be mainly some snowfall. But when you get to a place like Frederick, could deal with 10, maybe up to a foot of snowfall. But then higher elevations, you could see maybe double that. Certainly that could be the case in spots like, say, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Jim Cantorio was live this morning and will be live later on today to show you what he could be dealing with, not just in terms of snow, but maybe thunder, sleet, and thunder snow. So a long day, no question about it. We've seen plenty of cars make their way down the main strip in beautiful Frederick, but later on we do expect things to become a bit more treacherous. When those temperatures drop a bit more during the overnight hours and the precipitation continues to come down, some of that's going to turn from, say, like a light powder to possibly a bit of a sludge and then possibly freezing overnight on bridges and overpasses. So travel will eventually be a mess, no question. Now, we're going to do some traveling. With the magic of modern technology, we're going to send it back to our studios, and there you're going to find the man, Dr. Greg Postel, and he's going to make the complex very understandable on what we can expect rolling forward. Dr. Postel.
Reynolds, thank you very much. Yeah, we have a complex weather system that is now evolving and unfolding over parts of the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and even eventually the Northeast. One of the things that I'm going to be watching very carefully is this very cold high-pressure system that's now pretty locked in Quebec. And look at some of these numbers coming in. 0 in Montreal right now, 5 in Montpelier, Vermont. Let's see, 29 in New York City. So there's plenty of air that's really, really cold right at the ground that's not going to get out of the way. So with the precipitation coming in, let's say from south to north, there's kind of leading edge of it right now. You can see that it's going to start off, certainly in many locations, as snow with the air mass, the very cold air mass in play. But as we go through I think the overnight hours, we're going to see the fact that this low pressure system that's going to be sort of in control of everything move very close to the coast. They'll be able to start to see it show up near the Delmarva by, I don't know, 9 o'clock tonight or so. That will make the I-95 corridor into the east of it most likely rain. But that air mass, that high pressure that I talked about, will not get out of the way and will likely be part of it keeping very cold temperatures in place in Pennsylvania, in New York State, even, maybe even in coastal Connecticut throughout the entire event. Who would have thought that a area of low pressure, let's say near Atlantic City tomorrow morning, would be associated with an all-snow event in coastal New England? Oftentimes when we see areas of low pressure that in tight to the coast, there's a lot more rain involved in the overall system. But this one has that big high pressure system at its dispense, which is one of the reasons why we're going to see a lot more snow in many locations in southern New England that we might otherwise with a track, Alex, that is essentially a coastal hugger. Good news is the system moves away likely tomorrow evening, but not before dropping a ton of snow in places.
Absolutely. All right, thanks so much, Dr. Postel. Well, Gail, no doubt, going to also unleash some strong winds along parts of the coast. We have a high wind warning here for you going into effect tonight. 6 o'clock there in Atlantic City. Those gusts could trigger coastal flood issues as well. I was looking at the latest observation at the airport. In fact, right now, gusts are getting up over 30 miles per hour. So already dealing with the winds that are gusting strong, and they're going to continue as we work our way through the day up the coast, not just there in Jersey, but you head down to Delaware. Working your way northbound as well. We got coastal flood advisories that extend into eastern sections of Massachusetts as well. So again, it's all thanks to those winds that'll be whipping their way back on into the coast. That's going to be one of the problems here for us. So there's our low pressure center that's going to be moving its way basically from the mid-Atlantic tonight and into tomorrow up into portions of the northeast. Strong upper winds really going to help to strengthen this thing. So with this thing strengthening a bit more, that's going to of course mean some snow. That's going to really add up through parts of the northeast, but also again the winds that'll be coming in, driving right into the coast, and some of those low-lying areas here along the coast, those are the areas that we're going to be most concerned with dealing with some potential flood problems. So there's the low itself, basically just off the Carolina coast now. That'll continue to move northbound, and we'll watch these winds go up here as we head on through our day. You'll notice by the time we get into this evening, Philly, 35, 40 mile per hour winds. Eventually, Boston starting to get into the strong winds as well. Again, some of these gusts could be in the 40 to even 50 mile per hour range as we work our way on through the afternoon tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now, once we get into tomorrow afternoon, we do start to notice the winds coming down mid-Atlantic first, and then moving north from there, the winds will start to calm a bit more by tomorrow evening. No real wind gusts expected for us from NYC down towards Philadelphia. All right, we got plenty more to come when it comes to Winter Storm Gail. We're going to time things out for you. And of course, we've got live team coverage for you throughout the rest of the day and tonight.
Just like your fingertips, your lips have a unique print and unique needs. Your lips are like no others and need a lip routine that's just right for you. Chapstick has you covered. Chapstick, put your lips first.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
USAA. Wendy's Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that's got all other cheeseburgers feeling like... And now with the Breakfast Baconator, we're shaking and waking up your breakfast, bringing that big bacon energy all day long. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating.
These are both satisfying snacks. At 30 calories, V8 is surprisingly filling. You can have yogurt for 30 calories too, but the portion might be a little less satisfying. V8, the original plant-powered drink. Veg up.
Frisky's World. Look!
They're ramping it up with real meat and fish.
Now sauce it!
Frisky's stuffed and sauced. Flavor-filled.
Flavor grilled.
It's mealtime magic.
Feed their fantasy.
Friskies. Look! Frisky's little soups and little grillers. Tasty.
Save on last-minute gifts only at Target. This week, save up to 30% on toys and games. Select sweaters and puffers for the family, home appliances, and more. Now through Saturday. This week only, save on last-minute gifts at Target.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Ow! So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know. I never met the guy. He does exist.
They do exist. Santa?
This holiday season, choose the longest-lasting AA battery. Energizer Ultimate Lithium. Backed by science, matched by no one.
No matter what all the baby experts say, the perfect way to care for your baby is your own way. And that inspired our perfect diaper to be the softest ever with plant-based materials. Huggies Special Delivery.
Hey, come on down to our Appliance Superstore. We have the best deals on refrigerators, microwaves, gas ranges, and grills. And if you're looking for
When Subaru shares the love, good things happen. Over 64,000 pets supported. Over 2,500 wishes granted. Over 2 million meals provided. Over 400 national parks protected. In fact, Subaru and our retailers will have proudly donated over $200 million to national and hometown charities through the Subaru Share the Love event.
Get 0% for 63 months, and Subaru will donate $250 to charity.
And millions are set for a dangerous encounter with Winter Storm Gail, and the Northeast will bear the brunt of it. We're talking about the possibility of some places getting not 1, not 2, but potentially 3 feet of snow. All the big cities in play along parts of the I-95 corridor, but the devil's in the details of the very tricky forecast that could be the difference between maybe a few inches and perhaps even a foot. Continued coverage begins right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and in a few moments we're going to speak with the mayor. But I'll tell you, at this time, though, we've got overcast conditions. This is really just the very beginning of what we're going to deal with when it comes to Winter Storm Gail. Now, if we can, I think we're going to go directly to our graphics very quickly. Let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast, if we can, very quickly. And you'll notice from our location, you can see the snow that's coming down, mainly to our west and to our south. But eventually, we're going to see much of it envelop much of the region. And what we can expect also is that this is going to be affecting a lot of the bridges and roadways. In fact, we are going to see in some locations, you've got temperatures that are well above the freezing point, many other places that are below. And as we look at the types of precipitation, that truly is going to vary with where you happen to be. Some locations where it's above the freezing point is going to come down primarily as rain, but you know, right, that magic number of 32 or below, that's where you can see the problems really begin to pick up. And in some spots, yeah, we could see, again, quite a bit of snow. In some locations, maybe a foot of snow. Other locations, we could see a bit more. Now, if we can, let's bring in the mayor for just a brief moment, if we can, for a moment. And, sir, so glad to have you with us. Let me put my mask up here. I just want to ask you, Mayor O'Connor, is the city ready for this? It's been a while since you've had this kind of snowfall.
It's been more than a year since we've had this kind of a storm, but our crews are very well prepared and have been planning since this storm was being forecast last week to make sure that we would be ready for it and be able to respond as we needed to.
Now, I got to tell you, roads are in pretty good shape right now, but we expect tonight when the temperatures drop, we could see some icing. Any advice that you give to the people in the city?
Well, obviously, our preference would be for folks to stay off the roads if they absolutely don't need to travel, because it makes it easier for our crews to get out and do what they need to do. We had salt trucks out early this morning. The plows will be out over 2 shifts for the remainder of the day in order to get and stay ahead of the weather.
Absolutely. Well, we certainly hear a lot of sounds out there. Loud horns, and possibly there's a chance we could have some thunder snow that could be developing in parts of the region later on. For people who have let's see, that have their cars along the routes, they're advised to move their cars, right? In snow emergency routes.
We have opened up our parking garages for free parking through at least Friday, depending on how the storm pans out, because we'd like to get those cars off the road again. It makes it easy for our crews to do what they need to do to take care of the snow.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about safety, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's been the message all year in 2020.
Okay, well, you're a hometown guy. You grew up here. You know your weather well, and we certainly appreciate you spending some time with us.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Well, coming up in just a little bit, we're actually going to be hearing from the governor of New Jersey, because obviously there are many other places that are going to be affected by this winter weather. First big winter storm that we've had so far, and we've got, again, a long way to go. All right, Alex, let's send it right back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Reynolds. Well, Gail, no doubt all over the map here in the eastern part of the country. Right now, the flakes, they've arrived in Pittsburgh to Hagerstown, Maryland, expecting some heavy snow throughout the day and into the evening. And in Nashville, North Carolina, where freezing rain and sleet, that was an issue earlier. Now looking ahead to some steadier rains as well as some patchy fog at times there. So, yeah, just a bit of a mess in the eastern third of the country here. You head from the northern areas where we're finding the snow, and then as you head southbound, that's where you get into some of the rain as well as some of the storms. There's what it looks like right now. You can see there's the low continuing to strengthen there. That's what's going to be working its way up the coast and then taking all that precipitation in that general direction here for us over the next 24 hours or so. Let's get into some of these areas a little bit closer. Here's some of the rain showers and storms moving across North Florida right now. Looks like Jacksonville getting close to you. So some rumbles of thunder. Nothing severe for us now, but this is an area here, that west coast here, that could see some stronger storms developing as we work our way through the day. We'll have to keep an eye on those spots. Otherwise, some lighter showers as you head northbound. We've seen a band of rain move through the Atlanta area. You're getting a chance to dry out there for a brief time. Raleigh, though, you're wet and you're dealing with some rain there. Then as you cross state lines and head on into Virginia, that's when you start to get into a little bit more of the freezing rain issues there. Roanoke, you've been dealing with that for some time. Well, we actually want to head to New Jersey now. The governor there, Phil Murphy, is holding a press conference as the state prepares for this winter storm. Let's take a listen.
State Police Superintendent Colonel Pat Callahan, Homeland Security Director Jared Maples, and Jim Giuliano, Director of the Division of Reliability and Security at the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. Joe Fiordaliso, its president, is not here. He is chairing a board meeting, and I want to make sure Joe hears this. It's a board that President Taft appointed him to. Let me just switch gears for 1 second before we jump into the storm discussions. Because of the need today to focus on the weather, we will not be holding our usual COVID-19 briefing. However, as the pandemic does not take a snow day, I'd like to report today's numbers as reported to the Department of Health. So today we're reporting another 5,803 additional positive tests. That brings our statewide total cumulatively to 415,075 since March 4th. Spot positivity is 13.08%. That's as of December 12th. Rate of transmission is down a little bit to 1.08 as of December 14. As of last night, our hospitals were treating a total of 3,672 patients. That's up slightly. And of that number, 3,462 were confirmed COVID positive. 210 were awaiting their confirmation of their test results. Throughout the day yesterday, this has been a trend of late. Hundreds going in and hundreds happily alive leaving. Unfortunately, it's skewed toward more people going in. Yesterday, 489 new COVID positive patients were admitted, while 451 live patients were discharged. There were a total of 721 patients in our intensive care units, and 482 of them were on ventilators. Sadly, with the heaviest heart, we report another 91 confirmed COVID-19 losses of life from our New Jersey family. That total confirmed now stands at 16,095 blessed souls lost. There is now an additional, this number is up by 41, an additional 1,908 probable deaths. Now, having said that, yesterday was a historic day, a day for optimism, with some of our healthcare heroes receiving the first, what we anticipate will be millions of statewide vaccinations against COVID-19. Really emotional, really incredible. However, folks, we cannot for a moment let our guard down. If anything, in fact, the reality of a vaccine in our midst, and another, by the way, expected to join it possibly within a matter of days, that should harden our resolve, not lessen it, but harden our resolve to continue with things like social distancing, wearing our masks, washing our hands, and doing everything we can to protect our families and our communities. We will be back in Trenton for our regular briefing on Friday. With that, let's get back to the reason why we're gathered today. Starting late this morning, and my colleagues will correct me if they see the timing differently, we expect a significant winter storm to begin moving its way across the state. I have signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency beginning at 2 p.m. today. I'm also announcing that all state offices will be closed at 1 p.m. today, and that's for everybody except employees who are otherwise directed to fight the storm, so-called weather essential employees. Otherwise, state offices will all close today at 1 p.m. This will be a statewide weather event, and every county is currently under either a watch or a warning of some sort. A winter storm warning for the entirety of New Jersey north of I-95, a winter storm advisory for the entire southwest quadrant, and either coastal flood warnings, storm warnings, or high wind warnings for those nearer the shore. This storm is bringing with it the potential for at least a foot of snow to perhaps 18 inches across the I-78 corridor and north, with localized accumulations of even more in the higher elevations in the northwest corners of the state. Across central New Jersey, we anticipate snow to mix with sleet, and while this may hold down accumulations, it will make that snow heavier. And South Jersey may be spared the snow accumulations and see more of a wintry mix or just rain. But precipitation is only one concern that we have with this system. We also anticipate strong winds throughout the evening and overnight, with 30 to 40 mile an hour per winds possible inland and 50 miles per hour gales possible along the shore. These winds may lead to blowing snow in the northern part of the state and driving rain and sleet elsewhere, hampering visibility and making travel that much more dangerous. And they may lead to power outages, and Jim will get to that in his remarks. As Diane will detail, the Department of Transportation has been busy preparing for this storm, pre-treating many roads and highways, and pre-positioning towing and other equipment in the usual hilly trouble spots along I-280 in Essex County and I-78 throughout the western part of the state. Some roads in North Jersey had also been treated for Monday's storm, so we hope that that will keep things a little clearer as well. A commercial vehicle restriction, which includes tractor trailers, empty straight CDL weighted trucks, any passenger vehicles, towing trailers, motorcycles, and recreational vehicles, including boats, is in place. That restriction is in place along our interstate highways. This restriction does not apply to the Turnpike, the Parkway Diane up to exit 105, or the Atlantic City Expressway. The Department of Transportation has also been coordinating with NJ Transit, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the toll road authorities, and our regional partners to ensure everyone's on the same page. As you heard from us in prior storms, we don't want unintended consequences of different levels of restrictions and parameters one state to the next. Now, because so many people are currently still working from home and so many students are on remote learning, we do not anticipate the same after school and rush hour issues that we would otherwise see from a storm with this timing, coming in as it is mostly going to do throughout the afternoon and into the evening rush. We hope this will allow DOT's crews to tend to their duties without any issues. But if you are on the road after the storm conditions have begun, we urge you to please take it slow and use common sense and caution. We ask specifically that you stay clear of any plowing or spreading operations. Do not try to pass them, and if they are behind you, please let them pass so they can treat the roadway ahead of you. And let's give everyone working on a road crew, our state police, other first responders at the point of attack, our sincere thanks for staying out there. If you must travel, be sure you have an emergency supply kit for your vehicle and that it is up to date. Information on road conditions will be posted on the electronic signs along our highways and through the NJDOT Facebook page, on Twitter at NJ._info and at 511nj.org. Again, that's at NJ._info and 511nj.org. I'll ask Diane to provide a complete briefing on the personnel and equipment that DOT has at the ready, but it is significant. As I noted, because of the winds and heavy snow expected to be a part of the system, the potential for power outages exists, and the Board of Public Utilities remains in contact with the electric supply companies regarding their readiness, and I have been making some of those connections personally. If you experience a blackout, remember, folks, please immediately report it to your electric company. Do not assume that your neighbor or somebody else has called it in. And should you see a down power line or come upon one in your car, please steer clear. Stay away from it. Stay a safe distance away and call that in and leave it to the professionals. In my time and our time as governor up here, folks, you'll recall we've lost at least 2 people who did not heed that advice, who have lost their lives. Because of the potentially windy conditions, crews may not be able to safely attend to some poles and wires right away. So we do ask for your patience, as we obviously want the women and men out working in these conditions to be able to make it back to their families. And we know we have, I know at least at JCP&L, there's at least 200 folks in from their Ohio affiliates. My guess is we'll have out-of-staters to all the big electric suppliers. And finally, and this relates to that point, this is our first weather emergency of this pandemic, and we don't want anyone's last-minute preparations to inadvertently become an instance where they're exposed to coronavirus or potentially and unknowingly spread it to others. We're going to want to chip in to help our neighbors and shovel out, especially our older residents. But please keep in mind the need for maintaining social distancing and wearing a face covering while doing so. And if you're going to be heading out before the storm hits for that last gallon of milk or to stock up on a snowy day snacks, please do not forget to wear your mask and to be kind to the grocery store workers who are there to help you. And to store owners, we remind you that your store capacity cannot exceed 50%, and that all shoppers, not most, but all shoppers, must be properly wearing a face mask and socially distancing at all times while in your stores. Storm updates as well as preparedness information are all available online at ready.nj.gov, at the Office of Emergency Management's Facebook page, and on Twitter at ReadyNJ. Again, that's ready.nj.gov, at ReadyNJ. And by the way, if you're on expecting to be on an NJ Transit train or bus, check out NJ Transit.
We are getting a chance to listen in on the Governor of Jersey, Phil Murphy. Give us an update on how they're preparing there across the state for this winter storm. Of course, dealing with that amongst the pandemic as well. Some information relaying it to the public there. Well, of course, we've got plenty more to come when it comes to Winter Storm Gail, what it's going to be doing. Fill in now to our live teams. They are out and about to give us all the very latest on this winter storm.
Welcome to the Quaker Breakfast Table, where you listen, laugh, and dig in, where new normals are created, spontaneity leads to new traditions, and where you watch them grow up. Here, there's a seat for everyone, and delicious whole grain goodness to enjoy, your way. So let's grab life by the spoon, cup, or bowl and nourish it together. Quaker Oats. Good starts here.
Next time you carry out 3-topping Domino's pizzas for $7.99 each, try Domino's Carside Delivery. Just check in online and we'll quickly and safely bring out your food so you don't have to get out to get carry-out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin, I like your PJs.
This is an athlete 20 reps deep, sprinting past every leak in our softest, smoothest fabric. She's confident, protected, her strength respected. Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
Where else can you get this type of drama?
Where else does history hang from the rafters?
Where else is your own city home to your biggest rivals?
And 30 feet is still in range.
Where else can a city this loud be this slept on?
Where else is history still in the making? Oh my goodness!
Where else?
This holiday, get the phones everyone wants on the 5G America's been waiting for.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Now, get one of our best 5G phones on us when you buy one, and get $500 when you switch. Plus, select unlimited plans include Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
100 and obsessed with The Mandalorian.
I watch a lot of sports.
It has all my favorite shows.
And right now, the best in gaming is also on us.
It's like a gift on top of another gift. Gifts keep coming at you. Everywhere.
This is 5G from America's most reliable network.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target same-day delivery or drive up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
If you're struggling with an alcohol or drug addiction, Recovery Centers of America can help.
Recovery Centers of America is a leading accredited addiction treatment provider across the United States and near your home. Our facilities provide detoxification and residential inpatient treatment, as well as outpatient services.
Our team of healthcare professionals can help you recover from addiction starting today. We answer the phone and admit patients 24/7. Call us now.
Nothing can stop these crews from opening up the low. Don't miss all new episodes of Heavy Rescue Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Novartis.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 31 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, periods of snow during the afternoon. Windy, high 33. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times. Low 32. Thursday, windy with morning snow. High 36. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Here's a fun one. Find the cloud in this picture. Look closely. I'll give you a second. Find the cloud. Did you find it here? If yes, excellent job. That water holds future clouds. Sun's working on it as we speak. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
From the vaunted heights of Mount Nittany clear down into Happy Valley, the snow is coming down at State College. Penn State home of the Nittany Lions. I'll tell you what, it's going to be home to quite a few snowflakes and possibly in some parts of the Keystone State. Key idea is that you can see up to a foot of snow, maybe even more in parts of the region. Not far from this location in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Jim Cantori is going to be live for us again later tonight with a chance of some thunder sleet and maybe thunder snow. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf coming to you from the beautiful town of Frederick. And this morning it was relatively quiet. Now it's, well, the wind's picking up and the snow is coming down. I got to be honest with you, it is quite beautiful. Great town, but traveling is going to be a little bit difficult, especially along parts of 70. If you're going, say, east, you will run into some better conditions, some rain out there, slick spots, possibly some ponding. But when you get to Frederick and make your way to the west, it's all about snow. And certainly to the north, more of the same. Let's get right to it. Your Subaru Safe Driving Guide shows you the story where it's going to be treacherous out there. Some locations, bridges and overpasses most susceptible to the icing, so please be careful. If you don't have to get out and about, by all means, that may be your best course of action. What's more is if you see a lot of plows out, give them plenty of room. They've got a job to do, and they've been doing a great job at it. But remember, slick spots are all but a guarantee. You see the story in D.C., where eventually in Washington, D.C., it's going to be kind of, well, front-loaded with the snow, but then rain moves in later on today. And then as we make our way up into New York City, just the opposite. Relatively quiet, but then we finish up with a bang with a touch of winter weather. Even in Rockefeller Center out by the tree, snow will be coming down. The sight should be gorgeous. But remember, there's some danger to it, so just be careful. To give us a better idea of what we can expect rolling forward, let's send it back to Dr. Greg Postel. Greg.
Reynolds, thank you very much. Let's go over to now Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, East Central PA. It's 24 degrees and a sky that I can tell you what looks like a snowstorm is on the way, and that is the case. We're going to get a lot of snow in Allentown, Bethlehem, and as overall this system moves northward, it's going to bring a lot of snow to Western Virginia, Western Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York State, and many places in central and southern New England going to get clobbered with a lot of snow. If you're a snow lover, this is what you're looking for in many spots. Let's have a look at the forecast, though, because by 4 o'clock this afternoon, it's going to get kind of tricky right along the I-95 corridor, because that's about where the rain-snow line is going to be, and there's going to be a zone of sleet in between there that probably backs westward during the evening hours, maybe moves into southeastern Pennsylvania, maybe even gets into Allentown, Bethlehem, with that warmer air aloft trying to push its way in that direction. At about 8,000 or 10,000 feet above the ground, it may indeed get above freezing in this zone, including areas in western New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, enough to convert some of the snow over to sleet. That would dramatically reduce some of the snowfall amounts that we end up getting. But I think even so, there, all the way through New Jersey, overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, we'll go back over to snow, even if we do transition, because the colder air aloft will move back on in. But look at this forecast tomorrow morning in southern New England, coastal Connecticut and Rhode Island, getting in on very likely an all-snow event, despite the fact that this area of low pressure is hugging the Jersey coast. For those weather lovers, you're like, that's not usually a track for all snow for southern New England, but this time it is. And we've got a lot of snow and wind for especially the coastal locations overnight tonight and tomorrow before it moves away. Talking about the zones of maximum snow. Again, look at this. Coastal New Jersey, nothing. We're starting to lose, I think, some of our snowfall forecast accumulations there thanks to that sleet. But you know what? It's back in here where 18 to 24 inches of snow indeed possible. Alex, with that very same warm air that might give us the sleet here, not so farther west. That is air that is going to be ascending, a lot of atmospheric lift to support heavy snow, 1 to 2 inch at least snowfall accumulation rates tonight. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Postel. And, you know, some of that milder air to the south may help to support some stronger storms where we have that threat. Eastern parts of North Carolina, where we're seeing some of that wet weather right now. And you can see some occasional lightning strikes showing up right now just west of Wilmington. We'll see that area, see the storms move on through it in the next hour or so. But as heading through the afternoon, radar into future mode, you can see that line of storms continuing to progress towards the east. And it's these storms, those are going to be the ones that we have to watch pretty closely for that opportunity for damaging wind gusts and isolated tornadoes. That is also a risk here for us. And then we see things quieting down as we get into tonight. Some lingering showers, but the storm threat, that will be dying down. So anywhere in that red zone, we have the possibility for the strong storms. Again, wind, the bigger threat, but isolated tornadoes here for us. Can't rule that out. We've got Torcon values into the 2 to 3 range. So we're going to have to watch those areas closely. Not a huge risk, but a risk, so take it seriously. Well, time now for your day-ahead forecast. We want to head to perfectly named Santa Claus, Indiana. And, well, the Santa Claus land of lights at Lake Rudolph. It's actually a 1.2-mile drive of what is considered absolute delight. Well, as we work our way through the day, we've got some wintry weather out there. So be on the lookout for that this evening. Some snow showers with temperatures in the 30s.
A day ahead, brought to you by Wendy's. You can now get a Baconator any time of day with a breakfast Baconator.
Wendy's Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that's got all other cheeseburgers feeling like... And now with the breakfast Baconator, we're shaking and waking up your breakfast, bringing that big bacon energy all day long. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating.
Jeep is more than a legendary SUV brand. It's a community. We share a love of adventure. We share a spirit. And now we're sharing our employee price with you. Treating you like one of our own. Because that's exactly what you are. Employee pricing at the Jeep Big Finish event.
With employee pricing for all, get an average $4,644 below MSRP, plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2021 Grand Cherokee Limited.
Attention! Are you on Medicaid or Medicare? The U.S. government recently announced that 12.2 million citizens are eligible for additional benefits beyond what they receive from original Medicare or Medicaid. These additional benefits include up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call Go Medicare today at 800-932-2698. Again, if you have Medicare or Medicaid, you may be one of over 12 million citizens eligible for additional benefits, including up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-932-2698. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with no obligation to enroll in anything. Call today, 800-932-2698.
Everybody has a flashlight, but can your flashlight fit in your pocket, light up the night super bright, and even save your life in an emergency? This one can. Nick Bolton here to tell you about the newest tack light innovation, the Bell & Howell Tack Pen. That's right, we made a tack light the size of a pen, yet without sacrificing any features. Visible up to 2 nautical miles away, has a disorienting defensive strobe, zooms in to focus its beam wherever you want, and won't quit even in the most bitter cold or extreme heat. And yes, it survived getting run over by my Humvee. Try that with a regular flashlight. That's not all. Because it's so slim, it's easy to take with you. And it has a few new features you'll love, like an emergency escape tool that can shatter glass. Now that's what I call military tough. It even has a built-in multi-tool for quick fixes. And oh yeah, it's actually a working pen. So let's review. The Bell & Howell Tack Pen has all the great features of our tack light. The same durability you've come to expect. Clips to your pocket so you can take it anywhere, can help you make quick repairs, or break a window in an emergency. It even functions like a regular pen. I mean, there's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now to get your Bell & Howell Tack Pen for just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. Tack Pen is the only working pen and super bright tack light featuring zoom and defensive strobe functions and including an escape tool and multi-tool with screwdriver and bottle opener. Plus, like all of our tactical products, it features genuine Bell & Howell craftsmanship backed by our 10-year warranty. But wait, while supplies last, you can get a second one. Just pay a separate fee. So don't delay. Get yours today.
To order, call 1-800-619-4332 or go to buytagpen.com. That's 1-800-619-4332, or you can order online at buytagpen.com.
And welcome back to continued coverage on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and it is all about Winter Storm Gail. And you can see the plows riding about as this system continues to plow its way into the eastern third of the country. Let's get you to speed with what we know at this hour. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy declares a state of emergency effective at 2 p.m. today. Also, the Rhode Island governor warns Gail could impact COVID-19 testing on your Thursday. And according to FlightWare, more than 700 flights have been canceled today and over 400 flights for tomorrow. Oh, goodness, what a story it's been so far, and we're in the early stages of it. It will be affecting millions of people all across the Appalachians, clear up into the Northeast, and every spot in between. Some places in the form of rain, other places in, well, the form of what you're seeing right now. Some snow that's coming down and certainly has decorated the streets here in beautiful Frederick. Well, the story of Maryland is one that's going to be very similar in places like the Keystone State of Pennsylvania and beyond. If you take a look at the numbers, we're talking 95 million people, not just in the eastern third of the country, but also out towards the west. We do have the chance of some heavy snowfall, especially in high elevation, the Bitterroots of Montana and the Central Rockies, and yes, even into the Cascades. It's a jumbled mess. If you look at it from high above, it's an atmospheric food fight. Rain, sleet, snow, all decorating the map for the time being. Some of it for the Ohio Valley is going to be uniform in the sense it's primarily snow. A short while ago, we showed you live images from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh where the snow was coming down, and you can ditto those same conditions in spots like State College in Pennsylvania. More of the same, though. It's interesting in terms of your winter storm watches and warnings, they really do cover a very high area, in a big area. High elevation of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the White Mountains, the Greens, the Catskills, all affected, the Presidential Range too. And notice though, they continue down the spine of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Some locations, even like Helen, Georgia, Blue Ridge, Georgia, possibly getting some snowfall, and the Biltmore is going to look spectacular for you in places like Asheville with that snow that will be coming down. But one thing to remember, even though there's some beauty to it at the same time, roads are going to be treacherous. Be careful out there. Do the right thing. If you don't have to travel, by all means don't. You can take it easy, stay at home, stay warm. Probably the best option, I'm thinking, Dr. Greg Postel.
Reynolds, thank you very much. Yeah, we're watching that snow and rain move northward from the mid-Atlantic into parts of the Northeast, including Pennsylvania, Maryland, where you are, of course, and we're going to see a lot more of it. It is just now getting underway. We are going to see a lot of snow with this one, way in excess of a foot, maybe 2 feet in parts of central Pennsylvania, New York State, and maybe even western Massachusetts when it's all done. Right now, though, we are dealing with kind of a complex weather system with not a very strong low pressure yet. That will change, but we are seeing a whole variety of precipitation types in the mid-Atlantic. We've got rain along the coast of Virginia, higher elevations, a mixture of rain and snow, and freezing rain. Rain coming down, freezing on contact. That's no good. That makes it very icy on the roads. And of course, even some snow farther to the west, for example, in Charlottesville. In north parts of Virginia and even in D.C., we're still seeing some light snow, 33 degrees at DCA National Airport there. But I think in the next couple of hours, we will probably turn over to rain. Snowing now beginning to break out across parts of central Pennsylvania. The atmosphere is getting primed for that. And we can watch the forecast between, say, 1 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. That rain-snow line will eventually kind of find a spot temporarily along I-95. Right? Basically, D.C., Baltimore, Philly, all the way through central Jersey, through the New Jersey Turnpike into New York City. Northwest of that, snow. Southeast of that, rain. But then it gets tricky. I think as we go through the overnight hours, we have to watch out for the possibility of a bit more sleet showing up than maybe even our forecasts here are showing as some warmer air loft comes in. And some of the forecast soundings, say about 10,000 feet up, have indeed an area where we're in the mid-30s, aloft. So in other words, we'd get a mixture of precipitation types across even eastern Pennsylvania and western New Jersey for a time overnight tonight. Maybe not at 9 o'clock, but let's say midnight, 2 a.m. We have to watch that because that could really change the amount of snow that you get in those areas. However, in central and northern PA, New York State, also southern New England, Massachusetts, including Boston, watch out for very heavy snow, including very heavy snowfall rates, maybe of 1 to 2 inches per hour, Alex, and that will likely continue throughout the morning and even into the early afternoon before the storm moves away. Last graphic I'm going to show you is the amount of snowfall we get across parts of the mid-Atlantic and Pennsylvania. And there's where the bullseye is, Alex, New York State, the Berkshires, and of course, northern Pennsylvania. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Postel. Well, folks in the path of Winter Storm Gail, they're going to hear it from us and from police and other local officials. Stay at home if at all possible today. But if you have to go out, stay tuned. We've got some guidance on how to make sure that you get where you're going safely. First, though, before we head to break, checking in on Pittsburgh, where the snow has been coming down. You can see it there at this hour, coating some of these roofs. We'll see that on the grassy surfaces as well. And also another spot getting in on some of the snow, State College, Pennsylvania. More to come.
This year we learned anything's possible. Even fast delivery on the perfect last-minute gift from your Walmart store. Really fast, really perfect. Let's end the year nailing it.
You know it's coming. Snow. And this winter, when you find yourself looking at this, will you still be using this? Come on. Don't do that to yourself. Maybe you've moved on to a gas-powered snowblower. Does it ever start the first time? Then wrestling the heavy thing through the drifts, that's frustrating. And don't you love breathing in all those gas fumes? Well, forget all that. Now, there's a much better way. Cordless, convenient way, fast, fume-free way, an easy, quiet, super powerful way. Whatever your challenge, when it comes to snow, go with Snow Joe, the #1 brand of cordless snowblowers.
So I've been using the Snow Joe products for several years now. I'm very happy and excited with the way that they work. I also have a battery-powered snowblower, which works amazing.
Snow Joe's cordless snow shovels and snow blowers are the lightweight, gas-free way to quickly and easily clear walkways, driveways, decks, steps, sidewalks, and yards. Take this handy grab-and-go snow shovel. It weighs less than 14 pounds, yet thanks to Snow Joe's exclusive 24-volt Ion Plus lithium-ion technology, it blasts through up to 300 pounds of snow per minute and throws up to 20 feet and runs up to 70 minutes per charge. And look, starts the push of a button. How easy is that? So compact, convenient, you can hang it on a wall or store it in your closet. Got a bigger clearing job to handle? Blast past the limits of extension cords. Forget about mixing gas and oil. Instead, cut the cord with Snow Joe. This 48-volt Snow Joe blower powered by two 24-volt Ion Plus batteries can clear up to 10 tons of snow in 30 minutes on a single charge. It's about the weight of 5 pickup trucks. You only get that kind of power with Snow Joe's exclusive 24-volt Ion Plus battery technology with EcoSharp power management. Driving a heavy-duty, rubber-tipped steel blade auger that shreds snow without scratching the pavement and with 0 emissions. Best of all, it starts like this. Listen to how quiet it is. And the handle folds for easy storage.
After years of shoveling snow with a traditional manual shovel, my search led me to Snow Joe's cordless battery-operated snowblowers. Ended up being one of the absolute best purchases that I have ever made. Both me and my lower back, thank you.
Call now to order your Snow Joe today with prices starting at just $199.99. Or go online to getsnowjoe.com and pay as low as $19 a month. Order now and get a free cover, ice dozer, snow scraper, plus an additional year's warranty for 3 years coverage and free shipping. A total savings of over $100. This special TV offer is not available in stores, so call now.
Call 1-800-311-6100 or go online to getsnowjoe.com. That's 1-800-311-6100. Call now.
This year we got creative with our dollars. But with Walmart's low prices, you still know how to do it up and keep costs down. Let's end the year enjoying more.
Find the cloud in this picture. Look closely. I'll give you a second. Did you find it here? Excellent job. That water holds future clouds. Sun's working on it as we speak. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. Let's have a live look at Pittsburgh, Heinz Field. Snow is coming down, as it is in many other locations in Pennsylvania. And you can see that the visibility is now coming down quite a bit. I'm guessing it's about maybe half mile, 3/4 of a mile. That will accumulate maybe 1/4 to a half inch per hour, but I do believe the snow intensity will pick up as we go forward throughout the afternoon. In many areas in central Pennsylvania, we'll get a lot of snow out of this winter storm. Let's have a look at our forecast map now, showing you kind of the I-95 corridor where it's very, very difficult, as it often is with winter storms. But this one is going to bring very little snow east of I-95 and a lot of it to the west, and somewhere in between, especially on the northwest side of I-95 in eastern Pennsylvania, it could be a complex of mixed precipitation types tonight with sleet and or snow and some rain mixed in. So that could cut accumulation amounts there, even northwest of Philly. But overall, you can see that there's plenty of locations in the Poconos and the Catskills that are going to get a lot of snow. Philadelphia, for example, let's zoom in and I can show you that we probably have that mixture or nearby mixture of rain and snow, if not all rain, in downtown Center City. And then, of course, in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, we're going to get mostly rain. But let's say up to Trenton and north of there in northern Mercer County, we're going to likely get snow. And then overnight tonight, it's going to be a complicated mix, I think, of precipitation types before probably going all back to snow tomorrow morning and during the late morning and early afternoon hours before getting a lot of snow. Now, look at this snowfall gradient. This is a very remarkable sort of moment here to describe how difficult a forecast is. Imagine being in Philadelphia. You could go a few miles one way in this forecast and not get any, or not expect any, and go a few miles the other way and get somewhere between 6 and 12 inches. That's the kind of difference we're talking about, making this forecast particularly challenging, especially along the coastal plain of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and areas nearby. So we are likely to be dealing with a very, very tricky forecast going forward. Even those numbers are not set in stone. So watch for latest updates, of course. New York City, you can see that by afternoon we get the snow, but even I think southern Long Island and probably Manhattan, I believe we have a shot at going over to sleet and snow tonight before turning back over to snow completely during the morning hours as colder air works its way in, Alex, and then also in New York City. A very, very difficult forecast, but I do want to point out there may be a time tonight. This is a snowfall rate. Moderate to heavy snow for a period overnight tonight for several hours that could accumulate quickly in and around the city and just to the north. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Postel. Certainly a spot to watch, and you can see here in the eastern third of the country a lot of areas to watch. Of course, as you go from north to south, you go from dealing with the wintry weather, the snow here across that zone, and then you head farther south, you get into the rain showers as well as storms. All right, now we're seeing that moving its way across northern portions of Florida. Some lightning showing up there as well, getting close to Jacksonville, so a heads up there. And we'll have to watch things here a bit farther to the south. There's actually going to be an area here along the west central areas of Florida where we could have a few stronger storms develop, at least the chance for a few severe storms. Damaging winds be the main risk. Isolated tornado can't rule that out, but wind damage would be the biggest risk with those storms. So that's kind of on the warmer side of things when it comes to the system. As you start to move north, you get into the chilly rains. That's what we've been dealing with in places like Raleigh. Then you head north of there into Virginia, and that's when we get into a little bit more of the dicey situation. We've been dealing with some icing. Roanoke's a spot that's seen some freezing rain for some time here this morning and through this afternoon, and then we get into mostly snow, continuing up 81. Snow here across most of northern portions of Virginia and starting to fill in a bit more into Maryland. D.C., we've been reporting some snow here, back up towards Baltimore as well. So we'll see that filling in. Eventually, we think those areas here along 95 are there in Maryland. We'll go over to a bit more in the way of rain, but for now, it's a snowy scenario there. Moving back towards the north and the west, still some snow showers to deal with here across parts of Ohio. Starting to see that around Cleveland. Detroit, you've been in and out of snow showers here for most of the morning, and then there in the eastern parts of Kentucky, rain for you at this time. Back towards the St. Louis area, you're quiet, and we've seen some snow off towards the east, but you can see mostly starting to see that really fade away here. So maybe a few snow showers, more like flurries, is what we'll be dealing with. But basically, we're done with the accumulating snow. This is what we have seen. Couple of inches for the most part across parts of Illinois into Indiana. Around Indianapolis, actually done pretty well there, particularly the northwest side of town. That's where we've seen some spots 3-4 inches when it comes to some of that snow there. So we'll keep an eye on these areas drying out. It's farther to the east, though. That's where we're really going to get the dumping of that snow. Let's go ahead and head back down to Frederick, Maryland. That's where we find our very own Reynolds Wolf. And Reynolds, we've seen the shot change already this morning. Snow there on the sidewalk.
Oh, we certainly have. And I got to tell you, to all the kids who are tuning in, if you're trying to think of something to do with your life, you might want to consider meteorology, especially if you're like me, someone who may get bored easily, because weather is always changing. It truly is. And that's the case here. Where earlier this morning, we had conditions that are pretty quiet. Now you're seeing this incredible snow. But the snow does come with problems. It does come with danger at times. Full coverage continues in a few moments. Plus, we're also going to have a press conference from the governor of Massachusetts. That is coming up in a few moments. But if you're able and you're in a safe spot at home, you're able to look out the window, stay with us at the Weather Channel as we guide you through the next several hours and days, because this will be affecting millions of people, and the Weather Channel is here for you. Got people out in the crew, behind the field, behind the scenes to give you all the information needed. We'll see you on the other side. I'm going to try to thaw. You do the same.
The Lab, brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Not gonna lie, Jake from State Farm. That Daniel deal got me some sweet savings on my insurance.
Daniel, State Farm offers surprisingly great rates to everyone.
Sure you do. Tell you what, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll let you try the chunk, honey.
Oh, I'm good. Here's the deal. Great rates, kinda our thing.
You want to meet the queen?
I'm not dressed for that. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
There's still a few things Americans can agree on. The importance of speed, hard work, and the great outdoors. So we built a future for each of them. We electrified the Mustang and engineered it to get from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Put a hybrid engine in the all-new F-150 that works as hard as it does smart. Then reimagine the Bronco as an off-roading, high-performance wild animal. This is the future we're building, and we're building it today.
This season, get in the holiday spirit with warm memories and ice-cold buds. Celebrate with Budweiser's limited edition holiday cans. Available in stores now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fight Camp. Let's go. 1, 4, 3. Beautiful. Keep it up. Finish strong. Last one. Woo! Nice job. You crushed that workout.
Are you tired of clean clothes that just don't smell clean? What if your clothes could stay fresh for weeks? Now they can. Downy Unstoppable's in-wash scent boosters keep your laundry smelling fresh way longer than detergent alone. Pour a cap of Downy Unstoppables into your washing machine before each load and enjoy fresher smelling laundry. With 6 times the freshness ingredients, Downy Unstoppables gives you more of what you love. If you want laundry to smell fresh for weeks, make sure you have Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent boosters.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or Drive Up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
Mom.
What is that?
It's a star.
Oh.
I didn't have the cutout thing.
What do you think of mine, Grandma? That's perfect, darling. I'll put more candy on. Okay, my turn, my turn.
Here we go.
Just like yours, Mom. Oh, wow, you were terrible. I think I did something wrong. Yes. Okay, everybody, let's start again. 1 cup of sugar.
Sugar. I think I used a cup of salt.
At Spectrum, we think even if you can't be together, you should still be together.
Didn't he used to be a smart one? Very funny, Dad.
So we'll keep you connected. Happy holidays from Spectrum.
I love you too.
You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car. Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2020.
They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, periods of snow during the afternoon. Windy, high 33. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times. Low 32. Thursday, windy with morning snow, high 36. Here's our 7-day outlook.
So how about this? Isn't this something? Snow coming down. You know, it was real quiet this morning when we first got here at this location, but now it's really beginning to pick up and pile up in earnest. We actually have had some plows that have moved through here and cleaned some of this off, but it's already stacking back up. I'm Reynolds Wolf, meteorologist here at the Weather Channel. We've got coverage on Winter Storm Gail. And this is a storm that is going to affect millions of people in the coming hours and days. And one of the ways you're going to see it could be in the form of some rain, could be the sleet, could be the snow that we have right now. And some locations could get up to a foot, perhaps even more. But there's another component with this farther to the north of us, up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There's a chance later tonight we could get some thunder, sleet, and maybe even, are you ready? Thunder snow. And Jim Cantori is going to be back later on tonight with the very latest on that. That should be interesting. Something else is interesting. Look at this vehicle right here. This is one of the many plows we've seen out and about, doing a great job on these roadways, trying to keep them clear. They've been pre-treated, but the number one thing that can really keep those roads clear would be warmer temperatures and drier days. But unfortunately, that is something that's going to be far, well, downstream. Upstream, we're dealing with the snowfall. But you know what else we're dealing with? The big fish. We're talking Dr. Greg Postel. Let's go get Dr. Postel. And thundersnow, possible tonight, you think?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I do think it's possible. Reynolds, across parts of, let's say, northern Pennsylvania, maybe even New York State. Very strong ingredients for very heavy snowfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour. But one of the reasons why, and I want to point out that this track of this storm is going to be very close to the coast overnight tonight. In fact, it'll probably be close to Atlantic City overnight. And you might think, well, a track like that means oftentimes a lot of rain for many. Not so this time around, because we've got a very cold air mass in place at the surface anyway. And look, it's 1 degree right now in Montreal, 6 in Montpelier, Vermont. So extremely cold air is locked in at the ground over much of New York State and New England as this system is moving in. So it's almost like in some ways it doesn't really matter the track of this system, right? It's going to have so much cold air, at least near the surface, that many places will see snow, despite what we often would see would be rain with a case like this. But let's have a look at the forecast, and I can show you exactly what I mean beginning at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Probably D.C. will be raining by then. Still snowing last hour I saw at DCA National Airport, but I think we'll be going over to rain soon. Philly will be right on the borderline, but during the afternoon hour, you will see that rain-snow line become established, at least temporarily, right along that zone. Now, it's probably going to be moving around a little bit, and I think there's a significant risk for sleet as well in Pennsylvania. I'll talk about that later. But by tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., look where the low pressure system is. And look how we're still very likely getting all snow, well, very close to New York City, if not in New York City, coastal Connecticut, coastal Rhode Island, of course, everywhere else in interior sections of New York State, Pennsylvania, and New England. But the fact that we've got this system so close into the coast and yet bringing snow all the way throughout the entire region in New England, that is something that doesn't happen that often. So just enjoy it if you are a snow lover in coastal Connecticut, New Haven, or even Providence, Rhode Island. You might be thinking, that's not typical track for us to get a lot of snow, but this time you'll come out a winner, I think, if you look at some of these numbers. Last graphic here, there's in parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and there you are with all those big-time snowfall amounts in parts of the Northeast. Back to you.
All right, Dr. Postel. Well, Gail will also unleash some strong winds along parts of the coast. High wind warning that goes into effect tonight. 6 o'clock in Atlantic City, and those gusts could trigger some coastal flood issues here for us. So that's something that we're going to have to watch out. It's already been a breezy time. We've got more wind to come as the system moves up the coast. So we have a number of areas where we do have coastal flood, either watches or even warnings. We've got that all the way down towards the coast of Delaware, Maryland as well. Then heading up into eastern Massachusetts, coastal flood advisories there for you. Again, it's thanks to those winds that'll be wrapping around this area of low pressure, piling up some of that water and pushing it ashore. That could lead to some flood problems there for some of those areas that flood pretty quickly there along the coast. Those are the spots we're going to have to watch out for. So there's a low that'll continue to move its way northbound, again getting strengthened by some pretty strong winds in the upper levels here with the jet stream. So that stronger low whipping in the winds. Yeah, watch out here right along that coastal zone. Right now, we're seeing some of the rain spreading its way up the coast. Then you get into the cold area. That's where you're finding some of that snow. The low itself, again, continuing to strengthen here just off the Carolina coast, and then it's going to continue to move northbound, and we'll watch those winds increase as well from south to north as we head on through our day. You can see Philly, 35, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible there for you as we get into this evening, maybe even getting up to 50-mile-per-hour winds, and then eventually we'll see the stronger winds get up into parts of New England. So heads up there, we'll see some stronger winds impacting places like Boston. You could see here as we head into our Thursday morning and even late in the morning, 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts that'll be possible there as well. So a lot to track, not just the precipitation, but watch for some coastal flood issues here for us as well. Speaking of Boston, we're going to be heading to Massachusetts, checking with the governor there, Charlie Baker. He's going to have an update here on how they're preparing in the state.
This program brought to you by Verizon. The network more people rely on gives you more.
Verizon 5G is here with the coverage of 5G nationwide and the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband in more and more places where people need massive capacity and ultra-low lag. This is the 5G America's been waiting for, only from Verizon.
Joint pain, swelling, tenderness.
My psoriasis. Cosentyx works on all of this.
Cosentyx can help you look and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentyx.
Spread a little love today. Spread a little love my highway. Spread a little something to
Philadelphia cream cheese, made with fresh milk and real cream, makes your recipes their holiday favorites. The holidays are made with Philly.
2 medical societies have strongly recommended to doctors to treat acute non-low back muscle and joint pain with topical NSAIDs first. A formulation they recommend can be found in Salonpas. Salonpas, it's good medicine. Do you have Medicare? Did you know that you may qualify to get up to $148 added back to your Social Security check every month? It's easy to see if you're eligible.
Just call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center now at 800-849-8703. In addition to receiving $148 every month.
You might also qualify for a $0 Medicare Advantage plan that includes the following benefits: dental care, including fillings, exams, and dentures. Vision care, including exams, frames, lenses, and even contacts. Hearing care, including hearing aids and batteries. And $0 prescription drug coverage plans, all at no additional cost to you. Go Medicare is open now.
Just call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-849-8703. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with absolutely no obligation to enroll. That's 800-849-8703.
Call Go Medicare now because you may be eligible to receive up to $148 back on your Social Security check every month. And you might qualify for a $0 Medicare Advantage plan that includes the following benefits: dental care, including fillings, exams, and dentures. Vision care, including exams, frames, lenses, and even contacts. Hearing care, including hearing aids and batteries. And $0 prescription drug coverage plans, all at no additional cost to you.
Just call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-849-8703. That's 800-849-8703.
Just call Go Medicare now. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with absolutely no obligation to enroll. Call Go Medicare now.
At 800-849-8703. That's 800-849-8703. Go Medicare. We get you
more benefits. Next time you carry out 3-topping Domino's pizzas for $7.99 each, try Domino's Carside Delivery. Just check in online and we'll quickly and safely bring out your food so you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin, I like your PJs.
PJs.
Millions set for a dangerous encounter with Winter Storm Gail, and the Northeast will bear the brunt of it. We're talking about the possibility of some places getting not 1, not 2, but potentially 3 feet of snow. All the big cities in play along the I-95 corridor, but the devil's in the details. A very tricky forecast that could be the difference between maybe a few inches and perhaps as much as a foot. Full coverage begins right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and I should say full coverage continues because we've been talking about this for quite a while. I'll tell you what, we are here in beautiful Frederick, Maryland, and the story is snowy. We had Jen Carfagno with us earlier this morning. She, of course, was in Roanoke, Virginia, where you had some precipitation going down there. And then we have crews, of course, in parts of Pennsylvania, back in New York, and even, again, even more, they may be joining the fray. But the story is the one that you're seeing here, this massive winter storm that will be affecting people in a variety of ways. Now, One thing I can tell you is we've had quite a bit of traffic that's been moving through. The roads have been treated. We've had a few plows that have come through, plows even on the sidewalk here, but you'll notice all it takes is a few gusts of again, snow coming through, a few snow showers that continue to cover up the roadways. We've seen quite a few plows out and about, but people still urge to stay off the roadways if you possibly can. Now, a lot of folks we've seen out and about, it's part of their job. They don't have a choice. They've got to get out there. They got to deliver packages. We're in the holiday season, of course. A lot of people beeping. A lot of the moods actually quite good. A lot of folks here, certainly some snow lovers, no doubt. Some people haven't seen the snow here in a while. And if you want to know something interesting about the story that you have, on average, you have 20.5 inches of snowfall that falls in this location. You go towards the east, different scenario altogether. But if you go to the west and high elevations, we're talking up and towards the Blue Ridge, the numbers on yearly average more than double, over 40 inches of snowfall. So really it depends on where you happen to be with the amount that you often get year per year. But right now, it does look like it could be anywhere from 8 to 12, maybe, Alex, as much as, well, maybe even a little bit more. All right, Alex, we're going to check in again from this location a little bit, but for now, let's send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Reynolds. Be watching things piling up there for you in the next several hours. Well, Winter Storm Gail all over the map here in the eastern part of the country for now. The flakes, they've been flying around there in the Pittsburgh area there, continuing to do that. Hagerstown, Maryland, expecting heavy snow throughout the day and into the evening. And we take you to Asheville, North Carolina, where earlier we had to deal with freezing rain and some sleet. Now we've got the threat for more steady rains and some patchy fog here and there. So, yeah, a lot ongoing here for us in the eastern third of the country. That's where all the mess is taking shape. Northbound, that's where we've got the snow. Then you get into that transition zone. There's been some icing in parts of Virginia. Then you get into the rain and storms. In fact, the potential is there for some stronger storms to impact us in a couple of areas. One is here into Florida. We're seeing some storms, nothing severe, but certainly some downpours and some lightning. Later today, we could be seeing some more storms erupting here right along the west coast where we have that threat for some stronger storms, damaging wind gusts, probably the main risk. But isolated tornado or two cannot rule that out. And then as we head off towards the north, we get into some more rain here. Eastern North Carolina, that's another area that we're going to be watching for the threat for some stronger storms as well. Right now, just some steady rains around Wilmington, but heads up around the Outer Banks, things can get a little bit more active as we head on through the day. Then we get to the wintry side of things, and we get to that transition area across north central portions of North Carolina into Virginia. Those pink shade zones, that's where we've been dealing with some freezing rain. Roanoke's a spot that's been dealing with that for us for this first part of the day. And then continuing up 81. Notice now you get up into mostly snow from Charlottesville, working your way back up into even the D.C., Baltimore areas. Some snow filling in there. But looks like those areas going to start to transition a bit. In fact, you're already starting to see that on the radar now. Starting to see some sleet filling in there right around our nation's capital. So it's right in that area that we'll start to see the transition. And then some of those areas, in fact, go over to mostly rain. Well, the snow will continue right across western portions of Maryland. Pennsylvania filling in nicely now with the snow. We showed you the pictures there in Pittsburgh, and we're still finding the snow flying there up towards Cleveland. Snow showers starting to taper off back towards the Midwest. That's a zone that actually saw a decent amount of snow here, at least a couple of inches here over the last 24 hours. You can see it filled in nicely here, and even around Indy. Several inches of snow, particularly north and west of town. 3, 4, even 5 inches there being reported. But there comes the big batch of snow that will continue to fill in here across the rest of the Northeast. So get ready for that. New York City, quiet now. Philadelphia, quiet now. But all this is headed in your general direction there. And eventually we'll see this filling in across the rest of New England as well. So a lot to go as we head on through the rest of today. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Dr. Postel. He's got a bit more on what we can anticipate when it comes to the system moving into the Northeast. And Dr. Postel, there's going to be a number of areas that we're going to watch very closely because you could go from being very disappointed from not seeing snow to being very happy.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Alex. And we're talking about maybe areas in eastern Pennsylvania and western and northern New Jersey where we may see a decent amount of sleet tonight that could cut back in accumulations. But we'll still get snow, no doubt about that, even there. Right now, here's a couple of live looks. We got New York, Boston, 21 degrees. Eventually, it will snow here as this winter storm makes a beeline for many of these locations and unleashes a lot of snow that could reach as much as 2 feet in some spots. Probably not in Harrisburg, although it'll be close. Don't think it's going to be New York City. It's going to be more north central PA and central New York State. I'll show you in a little bit. But all of those cameras are very wintry. They got the cold temps already in place. And in some cases, you got the skies that are saying, you know what? it's going to start snowing soon if it hasn't already, like it has in Harrisburg. Let's go now to parts of even northern Virginia, where it's snowing as we speak. Charlottesville, this radar says it's snowing there, but looked at some of the observations. It's actually sleeting like it is with freezing rain and sleet in Roanoke. But also in D.C. now we've gone over, as Alex was mentioning, to ice pellets at National Airport. That may be it for the amount of snow that we get there in D.C. Whatever you got already, it may be done. We'll see about that. It may transition on its way out, but that would be about it. Right now in Pennsylvania, snow is beginning to show up more prominently on the radar, and we are seeing more and more reports now of ground truth underneath this radar, showing you that, yes, indeed, it is snowing in Harrisburg, as I showed you in that tower cam, and many other locations. If they're not snowing now, you will soon be, and it will come down heavy, especially overnight tonight. Timing it out from 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can find a spot on the map. Obviously, coastal sections, rain, interior snow. But there's one area that I want to pay attention to beginning, say, late this evening and overnight tonight, and that would be indeed this area in New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, where some warmer winds aloft at about 10,000 feet may indeed come in and turn everybody over to sleet, which would reduce the amount of snow that you get. And that may be something to watch, because right now some of the forecasts are for very heavy snow in some of these locations that we'll just have to see if indeed that does verify, because if it gets sleet, that would cut back on it a lot. But still, you'll get some either way. The heaviest of all the snow is in also association with that warmer air aloft trying to go in farther to the northwest. It will be in here in northern PA, western Massachusetts, probably, and central New York State, as a band of very heavy snow likely tonight begins to set up as the atmospheric dynamics basically overwhelm the region, and we get very heavy snowfall rates likely in excess of 2 inches per hour, maybe even some thunder snow as well. System moves out to sea later on tomorrow afternoon and evening, but not before delivering a lot of snow for many. You can see that we've got, in some cases, 12 to 18 inches of snow yet to come in central Pennsylvania. We're cutting back a little bit, it looks like, in New Jersey and eastern PA, maybe because of the sleet. But this is where we're going to get a lot, and that does include Boston, where we may see more than a foot. So right now, let's go to Boston and listen in on the governor's preparations for the upcoming snow event. Right now.
So good afternoon. It's nice to see Secretary Pollack, who I normally only see on a screen, and Sam, it's always good to see you in a slightly different role today than your typical one. We're here today to talk a little bit about snow. We just got off a phone call with the National Weather Service, and except for the Cape and Islands, which may see lower snow totals, about all of Massachusetts tomorrow is likely to see at least a foot of snow. We could also have some power outages because of the high winds tonight and tomorrow, although those are more likely to be focused in southeastern Mass. And along the coast, we could see some minor flooding during the high tide tomorrow afternoon. Snow is expected to start falling around 9 p.m. in western Mass and closer to 11 p.m. in eastern Mass. And by midnight, we expect it'll be snowing at a rate of about 1 or 2 inches per hour, in some places maybe as much as 3. Continuing into Thursday morning. In total, the current forecast calls for the most parts of Massachusetts, as I said, to see somewhere between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Western Mass, Central Mass, the numbers may be higher. And we're also concerned about the potential for a flash freeze in eastern Massachusetts on Thursday morning. Colder temperatures are expected to quickly move eastward tomorrow morning, and that could lead to some slush and melted snow getting frozen as a result on the roadways, which obviously will certainly create some icy conditions that will make it very difficult tomorrow morning for people to be out in their automobiles. Obviously, here in Massachusetts, we're no strangers to winter weather. The Lieutenant Governor and I were talking earlier today about the fact that one of our first experiences in our current jobs, almost 6 years ago now, was the blizzard of 2015. But we've had plenty of opportunities to work our way through this stuff since then. Right now, as everybody also knows, traffic is down compared to where it typically is, and that's because more and more people are working from home, which is obviously helpful to our road crews as they clear the storm away. I'd also just point out that the fact that the storm really starts in earnest later tonight and ends toward the middle of the day tomorrow also means the vast majority of it's going to be falling at a point in time when most people should be home, based on the stay-at-home advisory we've got in place here in Massachusetts from 10 at night until 5 in the morning. And we're obviously asking people to stay off the roads, and especially tomorrow, if you can stay home, that would be the preferred option. And if you need to travel, you should really try and get whatever you need to get done earlier tonight or put it off until sometime late tomorrow afternoon. This isn't only for your safety, but it's also for the safety of the road crews and all the other folks who are going to be out dealing with the storm and clearing away snow. State employees who, for the most part, do have the ability to work from home will be expected to do that. In addition to that, there are a number of workplaces across the Commonwealth where people do work in person, many in customer-facing roles. We'll probably have more to say about what will be open and what won't be open when we know a little bit more about how the storm is unfolding. That's likely to be either late tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. And we also recommend, obviously, that employers that have employees who can work from home, it would be great if you could have them do so. And if people do absolutely have to commute, they should probably put a lot of extra time in for that. People should take it slow. The storm, heaviest parts of the storm are probably going to be tomorrow night, but it's still going to be snowing at a pretty brisk rate in many parts of Massachusetts throughout the commute tomorrow morning, and snow will continue to fall in a lot of places until around noon. The DOT and the road crews there and the MBTA is obviously going to be working throughout the night to clear off platforms and rails and roads and sidewalks. The DOT's Highway Division is planning a full deployment of all their equipment and personnel. That'll be approximately 3,800 pieces of snow fighting equipment will be deployed to perform ice and snow operations on more than about 15,000 miles of roadway throughout the state. And the MBTA will be clearing tracks and engaging their new snow plans throughout the evening and into the morning as well. And even as the storm moves out tomorrow, we obviously expect cold temperatures to be with us throughout the week, which means it will continue to be icy in the days ahead. Please be cautious if you go outside. We have had a very mild fall. In some respects, it was 52, I think, on Sunday. So we clearly haven't had to deal with something quite like this in quite some time. And I think we should all remember that we should respect this kind of weather and recognize and understand that if you have high winds that are from 40 to 60 miles an hour, you could have some downed trees and other obstructions in the way. And that will also cause potentially some isolated power outages. We've obviously spent a bunch of time talking to the utilities and the folks at the DPU, and they're bringing crews in and staging them in all the key locations they think are going to be particularly important so that they can restore service as quickly as possible. Once again, if you absolutely don't have to travel tonight or tomorrow, it would be great if you could just stay put and let the road crews do the work that they need to do. The last thing we all need to deal with right now, in the midst of everything else that's going on, are car accidents and other collisions as a result of what will be fairly treacherous driving conditions. Everybody knows our first responders and our hospitals have had their hands full for months. It would be terrific if you could just stay off the roads and not make their lives any more complicated than in some respects they already are. The MEMA State Emergency Operations Center is activated, and that'll continue with Mass DOT, the folks from DPU and the state police and others throughout the storm. Now turn it over to Lieutenant Governor to talk a little more about
Governor of Massachusetts,
response efforts in our work with cities and
on how the state is preparing. And one of the key things driving home is telling folks, hey, if you don't have to be on the roads, please don't, because treacherous driving conditions are set to move on in. Of course, we've got plenty of coverage here on Winter Storm Gail. Our live teams are out and about giving us the very latest, and we'll be checking with them for the rest of the afternoon.
When the snow flies, there's only one sure way to hit the road. With Roadrunner Ice Melt. There's nothing else like it, because Roadrunner combines 3 ice-fighting ingredients, creating a hydroscopic reaction that squeezes the life out of snow, plus a powerful exothermic reaction that breaks the bond between ice and concrete. So all that's left is a safe, clean surface. Help is on the way with Roadrunner Ice Melt. We know snow.
Look for Roadrunner Ice Melt at these local retailers.
This isn't my first road. I wouldn't be here if I thought reverse mortgages took advantage of any American senior. Or worse, that it was some way to take your home. It's just a loan designed for older homeowners, and it's helped over 1 million Americans. A reverse mortgage loan isn't some kind of trick to take your home. It's a loan.
Reverse mortgages with AAG free, no obligation monthly mortgage payments, pay bills, medical costs, and more. Call now and get your free info kit. Call 1-800-231-7626.
Other mortgages are paid each month, but reverse mortgage, you can pay whatever you can when it works for you. Or you can wait and pay it off in one lump sum when you leave your home.
Discover the option that's best for you. Call today and find out more in AAG's free, no-obligation reverse mortgage loan guide. Access tax-free cash and stay in the home you love.
You've probably been investing in your home for years, making monthly mortgage payments, doing the right thing. And it's become your family's heart and soul. Well, that investment can give you tax-free cash just when you need it.
Learn how homeowners are strategically using a reverse mortgage loan to cover expenses, pay for health care, preserve your portfolio, and so much more.
Look, reverse mortgages aren't for everyone, but I think I've been around long enough to know what's what. I'm proud to be a part of AAG. I trust them. I think you can too.
Trust AAG for the best reverse mortgage solutions. Call 1-800-231-7626 so you can
retire better.
Mondays will never be the same. New superstars. New rivalries.
We're now full speed ahead.
Must be a new Raw. Monday Night Raw, live Mondays at 8 on USA.
Brought to you by those who live like a pro. Visit your local Tri-State GMC dealers.
During these extremely difficult times, Recovery Centers of America is open and continuing to do what we do best, help you overcome addiction. We still answer the phone and admit patients 24 hours a day, every day. There are strict measures in place to ensure your health and the health of our employees. If you or someone you love is struggling with drugs or alcohol, call us today.
1-800-705-8407. Call now.
Can stop these crews from opening up the road. Don't miss all new episodes of Heavy Rescue Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Novartis.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, periods of snow during the afternoon. windy, high 33. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times, low 32. Here's our 7-day outlook.
I watch the weather. And I talk about the weather. When everyone else on the plane is watching movies, I'm looking out the window. Out there, big puffy mountains float. I can watch lightning being born. They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
Yeah, it's amazing how compelling the weather can be from 30,000 feet looking out the window of an airplane. But at ground level, looking up, I'll tell you what, the perspective is altogether different and can be quite as interesting. That's certainly the situation you're seeing this morning. As many of you may be at home, you can see right now from the comfort of your couch, the snow coming down in some directions, kind of varying as it falls from the heavens above to the ground below, and it is piling up. And right behind me, you can tell that you've got quite a bit of snow here. This has actually been cleaned off several times. The roadways actually in somewhat decent condition. We're going to go from good to bad to possibly terrible as we go to overnight. Subaru Safe Driving Guide shows the situation we have in parts of the Carolinas where we've got rain coming down in some locations, but once you get into higher elevation, everything switches over. The Blue Ridge dusted with white, and with it, bridges and overpasses will be susceptible to quite a bit of icing out there, so please be careful when you're going out and about. And if you don't have to go out, by all means don't. If you do see those plows out there, know that they've got a mission, they've got a job. You can make it easier by giving them plenty of room. Meanwhile, we make our way to places like Washington, D.C., where you might have some snow early, but by the afternoon, by the time you have the evening rush, everything switches over. But the opposite is going to be true for places like, say, well, New Jersey and into New York City, where you could have everything switching over to mainly snow by the afternoon, evening hours. So certainly something you can expect. Again, Dr. Postel, the traffic is pretty good here for the time being. We're seeing law enforcement out and about doing their job, trying to keep people safe. And, hey, guess what? We're doing the same thing. Dr. Postel, why don't you walk us through the next several hours and what we can expect with more of this stuff, the snow?
Yeah, for many locations, the snow will get heavy, and if it hasn't started yet, like, for example, here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where it's 25 degrees and cloudy, it will snow soon, in the matter of a couple of hours at most. So right now, you might look at the radar in and around eastern Pennsylvania, like, for example, here in Bethlehem, but it says it's snowing, according to the radar, right there. There's Allentown, Bethlehem right next door. And the reason why it's not is because it's evaporating before it hits the ground. The radar's picking up snow coming down at a couple thousand feet up. But because it's so dry in the subcloud layer, I showed you the temperature is 28. The dew point is 12. So that difference between the temperature and the dew point tells us that it's really, really dry right near the surface. That snow is coming out of the sky and evaporating. Can we go to that? There it is, bottom right hand corner. You can see that it's not doing anything there near the surface, but it will soon, and we will see that snow pick up. That's a beautiful shot, by the way, and you can tell that snow is on the way. Let's go back to the radars and show you that areas in and around D.C. now going over to ice pellets. The transition from snow to ice, sleet, and or rain is on the way, and that will be the case likely along that I-95 corridor, eventually Baltimore and Philly as well. Even though we are starting to see some snow now in Philadelphia and other areas in New Jersey. How about this little band of snow? Where did that come from? Coming in off the Atlantic there. A little stripe there of ascent, lift in the atmosphere, moving westbound, bringing some light to moderate snow with it. That will make it very pretty, but be careful. The roads are going to be very slick with temperatures largely below 32 degrees. Let's talk about the forecast from this afternoon, 1 o'clock. Going into the later afternoon, I do think we will see along the coast on east of I-95, if not mostly rain, all rain. But just to the west of there, I want to be careful because the models are suggesting that there might indeed be a region of sleet with some warmer wind aloft coming in off the Atlantic, where our forecasts are showing snow. Well, we'll see about that, because at about 10,000 feet above the ground, it may well be in the mid-30s, and that's not going to cut it if you want all snow. We have to watch that for eastern Pennsylvania, maybe cutting back on some of those snowfall accumulations. But elsewhere, that very same band of warm air aloft coming in, on the leading edge of it is where we're going to see the heaviest snow, perhaps ironically. That's where it's going to be. A lot of lift in the atmosphere over northern PA, New York State, and much of New England, even in coastal Connecticut. We're going to see mostly, if not all, snow with this one, and that is going to bring very significant amounts, Alex, to the tune in some spots here of 2 feet maybe in parts of the Catskills, Poconos, and Berkshires. And then, as I mentioned, how about that, Alex? Coastal Connecticut, maybe a foot of snow as well. Back to you.
Wow, pretty amazing. So you got the wintry issues in the northern tier, but the rain and possible severe storms on tap for parts of the south. That includes Tampa, Florida, as well as Nags Head, North Carolina. So on that sort of warmer, milder side of things, we have the fuel for some stronger storms to get going here. And we've got stormy weather already here moving its way through parts of North Carolina. Wilmington seeing some storms moving on through right now, below severe limits, but that may change here for us, particularly in the zone in the Outer Banks later on today as we watch this whole set of line of storms move on through that area. The biggest threat is going to be damaging wind gusts with a line of showers and storms, but can't rule out an isolated tornado. We'll see still some showers lingering, but the severe risk really dies down as we get into later on tonight. But it's right in this zone of red that we'll have to watch for that possibility. Wind, and again, isolated tornado risk. We've got Torcon values right in that 2 to 3 range there for you in eastern sections of the state. Farther to the south, quick check on Florida. Storms rolling on through here. That's another area that we'll be watching for some storms that could turn severe as well. West central portions of the state dealing with that risk as we head on through our day. Plenty more to come when it comes to Gail next.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese. I'm a Verizon engineer, part of the team that built 5G right. We started with America's most reliable network, added 5G nationwide for millions of Americans, and the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband in more and more places where people need massive capacity and ultra-low lag. I'm proud ultra-wideband was named the fastest 5G in the world. But I'm even more proud all that work is going to make a real difference for you. This is the 5G America's been waiting for, only from Verizon.
Stay tuned to save $10 on Tax Shaver.
For a close shave, you need to get a razor and lather up. For a quick shave on the go, you need to settle for an electric. But what if you really want both? Nick Bolton here with the newest addition to our tactical line, the Bell & Howell Tax Shaver. Designed with the needs of our military in mind, Tax Shaver gives you a quick, razor-smooth shave whether you're at home or on the go. It even has a built-in trimmer for sideburns and beards. And it works wet or dry for a great shave in even the harshest conditions. That's right, the Tax Shaver is completely waterproof. In fact, you could even use a Tax Shaver underwater and still get a great shave. Navy guys, Tax Shaver is small and compact, so it slips easily into any pocket. Yet it also has 3 powerful rotary heads that can easily take on even the coarsest hair. To prove it, I'm gonna do something I never do. Shave. As you can see, it easily handled even my stubborn stubble. Now that's what I call military tough. So let's review. Tax Shaver gives you a quick, razor-smooth shave, features a built-in trimmer, works wet or dry, even underwater, and has 3 powerful shaving heads. I mean, there's just nothing like it on the market today.
Tax Shaver is $29.99, but act now and we'll take $10 off, so you get it for just $19.99. And shipping is free. But wait, call or click today and you can get a second Tax Shaver. Just pay a separate fee. Tax Shaver is the only shaver that features genuine Bell & Howell precision and quality, and is backed by our 10-year warranty. You can get 2 Bell & Howell Tax Shavers with this special TV offer. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-546-5019 or go to taxshaver.com. Again, that's 1-800-546-5019 or order online at taxshaver.com.
Start with all the moms in the world. Narrow it down to all the karate moms with a sudden, desperate need for brown sugar. Meaning you. You're the one we made my Walgreens for. With pickup in as little as 30 minutes. to make saving, shopping, and holiday chaos a little easier. Wait, are those Ninja Bread men? Hi-ya! Introducing my Walgreens. Join for 30-minute pickup at walgreens.com.
Wow, a new Buick for me?
To James from James. That's just what I wanted.
Is this a new Buick?
I Secret Santa'd myself.
I shouldn't have. I have been very good this year.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Don't forget you this holiday season. Get an SUV from Buick. Celebrate the holidays with Buick. Now everyone can get GM employee pricing on most Buick SUV models. Use it to get over $4,500 total value on this Encore GX.
And welcome back to continued coverage here on the Weather Channel about Winter Storm Gail. We got the sirens blaring for you. Let's get right to the very latest that we know at this hour. 50 million people are under a winter storm warning. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy declares a state of emergency effective at 2 p.m. today. And Connecticut Department of Transportation will activate 1,600 highway workers and have over 600 plows ready to go. Well, goodness gracious. Again, you heard the alarms a short while ago, but without any alarm, we can show you what we have. The confetti falling from the heavens above to the ground below, and it is certainly beginning to stack up, possibly the tune of more than just a few inches, possibly several feet in some locations. Here at our present location in Frederick, we're expecting, hey guys, how you doing? Thanks so much. A lot of people out and about enjoying the snowfall. A lot of happiness out here. Big snow fans, no question. But keep in mind, though, the roadways can be awfully dangerous. So if you are out and about, use caution. If you can avoid certainly traveling on your interstates overnight into the morning, I'm going to be wise because as temperatures tumble, we do expect things to ice over. Hey, let's go from this vantage point over to our nation's capital. And inside the Beltway, we've got the snow that is coming down. We do expect a bit of a switchover. So what you see now will be different later on in the nation's capital, switching over to some raindrops. Not expecting the major accumulation, but you know what we're going to accumulate? We're going to accumulate a lot of cancellations and delays. In fact, those numbers are going up. We'll have those numbers for you coming up shortly. Now, let's go right to the graphics. 95 million people dealing with some form of winter weather today, and it does include just parts of the Great Lakes, the Northeast, but also into the Northern Rockies and even into the Bitterroots of Montana. So it is a mess. You see the rain, you see the sleet, you see the snow. Sorry, folks, the mouth is starting to freeze a little bit, and understandable when you have this winter weather. Sure enough, we're going to see it sweep across the Ohio Valley, moving into the Northeast. The Great Lakes certainly being affected. High elevation is going to get the highest amounts. What's interesting in our location here in Frederick, on average, they average about 20.5 inches of snow a year, but you go, say, 20 miles to the west of our location, it more than doubles each year. Now, in terms of the winter storm watches, we've got those for you across much of the region. Roads are going to be a mess. If you guys can come back to me very quickly, what you'll notice is that we have one of the many plows we've seen today doing bang-up work. This is a kind of a combo truck where you have some salt that is coming through. The plow at the front, that's the main implement. But despite the great work they do, you're going to have some problems on the roadways. Bridges and overpasses, as we always tell you, are going to be the places that's susceptible to some icing, to some freezing. So please be careful. If you can avoid traveling, take it easy, stay at home, curl up, watch the Weather Channel. All right, I believe we're sending it back to the studio to Dr. Greg Postel. Posty, I got to tell you, I know the snow can be dangerous, but aesthetically speaking, it's a gorgeous sight we're seeing here. It truly is beautiful. Back to you.
Yeah, I know. In some ways, I really do miss it because, as you know, in the South, you don't get much of it. But enjoy it, Reynolds. But also be very careful. A lot more snow and bad weather is on the way for many. We've got snow even as far west as central Ohio. Look at this. Cincinnati coming in with some light to moderate snow right now, as is Pittsburgh and areas in between, all the way up through Cleveland. So Ohio getting in on the action as well. But by far, the most significant snow is now beginning to move northward through northern Virginia and northward from there. And in between the rain and the snow, there's a real problem here. There's a lot of freezing rain being reported in that zone. And that's also going to be a factor for us right along the I-95 corridor tonight when you have freezing rain. Rain coming down, freezing on contact, makes the roads very dangerous. That's the worst of all kind of winter weather, especially to travel in. Overall, as I said, the snow is now creeping northward through Pennsylvania. We're seeing lots of places that are getting moderate snow with visibilities cut underneath a mile, in some cases, even some heavy snow. And that will be the theme and that trend going forward. There's the forecast with the rain-snow line, as I mentioned, right along I-95. I think even the forecast for Manhattan is very tough, with a lot more accumulation 20 miles north of there than in downtown. We've got a very complex situation setting up overnight tonight, let's say by 9 o'clock through about 2 a.m. or so. Strong winds aloft, really strong winds aloft at about 10,000 feet, maybe 70 knots coming in off the Atlantic. That may warm enough, a little layer about 10,000 feet up, enough to make some sleet across this zone that could reduce our snowfall accumulations, including areas in Philly and to the northwest of Philly. But it is that very same transport of warm air aloft on its leading edge that is also going to be associated with extremely heavy snow farther inland in north central Pennsylvania and in central New York State, including Albany and areas in Massachusetts later on tonight, tomorrow morning. We are going to be dealing with a very, very powerful storm that was going to bring, in some cases, maybe up to 2 feet of snow, especially in, let's say, northern Pennsylvania and even perhaps the higher elevations of the Berkshires in western Massachusetts. So stay tuned for all the latest on this developing winter storm and all the hazards from snow to ice to wind. We'll be right back.
Subaru Safe Driving Guide, brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Helping seniors.
Helping kids.
Helping families.
Helping pets. These are the lives Subaru retailers have impacted in our communities through our support of over 1,400 hometown charities. In fact, Subaru and our retailers will have proudly donated over $200 million to national and hometown charities through the Subaru Share the Love event.
Get 0% for 63 months, and Subaru will donate $250 to charity.
Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Sharing smiles together is a gift. At Aspen Dental, it's easy to gift yourself the smile you deserve. New patients, get started with a comprehensive exam and full set of x-rays with no obligation. And if you don't have insurance, it's free. Plus, get 20% off your treatment plan. Enjoy flexible payment options and savings when it matters most. We're here to make your smile shine bright so you can start the new year feeling all right. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL 7 days a week or book today at aspendental.com.
We all have a duty to the bravest of this country, to honor their sacrifices.
We were quite devastated when we saw how serious their injuries were.
That was a very scary time for me. You're worried to death about your son.
At Wounded Warrior Project, we provide free, life-changing programs and services that can change a person's life forever. Your gift of just $19 a month will help wounded warriors like Eric rebuild their lives.
When you go out with one leg and the other leg?
Some of the biggest challenges were what's going to happen. Are we going to be able to stay together and keeping the family together?
When he came home so severely injured, to be a husband and father, that it was so important to him.
Right down there. Since 2003, Wounded Warrior Project has helped improve the lives of millions of service members and their families. But for some wounded warriors, their battle continues for the rest of their lives.
The soldiers need to know when they're out there fighting for us that there are people back home if the worst happens.
Call or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
Wounded Warrior Project reached out to us as a family. They reached out to my son, and they never forgot about us. They gave my son hope for the future.
For many of our wounded service members, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. We can't let that happen. Call or go online at honorwarriors.org with your gift of $19 a month right now.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Now try Nestle Pure Life Plus, water enhanced with minerals and a splash of flavor.
I watch the weather, and I talk about the weather. When everyone else on the plane is watching movies, I'm looking out the window. Out there, big puffy mountains float. They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
New video into the Weather Channel. What in the name of Brutus Buckeye is happening here? This is a look at Columbus, Ohio, home of the Ohio State University. You've got snow that is coming down. And I'll tell you what, it is going to stack up to possibly about a ½ inch in the area. More flakes expected to continue tonight. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to snow, that may sound a bit on the paltry side, but remember, usually about an inch to an inch and a half of snow up to 2 inches can cause more damage, more slick conditions on the roadway. So that could be dangerous. Be careful out there. Welcome back, everyone, to continued coverage on Winter Storm Gail. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and I know it seems like it was just moments ago we were talking about the tropical season, which obviously is over and done, and now the winter season truly ramping up. And the scene that we have here in beautiful Frederick, Maryland, is one where we've got quite a bit of traffic going down Main Street, but it's the traffic from high above that's affecting the ground below. It's going to be certainly something of conversation here in town. A lot of people kind of walking out and about and mesmerized by the view, and we've got more on the way. By the time all is said and done, could see up to a foot in some locations, maybe even more up to the north in the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. So let's go right into the forecast, and you can actually see our locator. There's my ugly face there in parts of the screen, but at the south you see the snow that's coming through. One thing that really matters, though, are road temperatures, and we've got this great map that's really gives you quite a bit of information there. Shows you the temperature that you have of the road surfaces in and around the Baltimore and Washington, D.C. area. Some locations near the freezing point, some above, some below. But it's going to be back in the higher elevation where you see the numbers that could be more troubling. And with that snow that comes in, it could be higher. I think it could be a big mess for a lot of people. The mess going to continue for much of the day. Look at that in D.C. Eventually, it's going to switch over all to rain. Conditions will improve. Air travel will also improve. Today, it's a mess. You've got hundreds of flights that have been canceled, and we've got more than a few for tomorrow also. But notice in D.C., we do see those changes taking place. It's going to be a bit more in spots like Leesburg, back into Frederick, and even through tonight and up towards places like Glenboro, we could see more than a few inches of snowfall and slick conditions. You can't see it here on camera. You're going to have to take my word for it. But there's a gentleman who's just walking up the street here who just slipped and fell on some of the sidewalks. Alex, slippery conditions, to say the very least. All right, let's send it back to you, Alex.
Yeah, got to be careful out there walking and, of course, driving as well, because driving in winter weather conditions can be very hazardous. If you have to travel through an area that typically experiences snow and ice, you need to be aware of the extra precautions that drivers must take. Meteorologist Mike Bettis shows us how to navigate the roads.
Snow and ice can cause big problems on the road this time of year, and according to the National Safety Council, nearly 6,000 people are killed every year in weather-related traffic accidents. Here are 5 things that can help you weather the road. First, be prepared. Make sure your car is ready for the elements. Check your tires, including the spare, to make sure they have plenty of tread and are properly inflated. Also, check your battery, windshield wipers, and your antifreeze levels. Pack emergency essentials like a first aid kit, a blanket, food, and water just in case you get stranded. Second, before you head out, clear your windows, mirrors, headlights, and taillights so you can see and people can see you. Also, clear the exhaust pipe of any ice or snow. A clogged pipe can cause carbon monoxide to back up in your car. Third, make sure your phone is charged and tell someone where you're going and when you plan to arrive. Keep a close eye on the weather reports. Fourth, while on the road, slow down. Leave 3 times more space between you and the car in front of you. Fifth, know what kind of brakes you have. If you begin to slide and you have anti-lock brakes, step on the pedal, stay on the pedal, and steer in the direction you want to go. A little steering goes a long way. If you don't have anti-lock brakes, push on the brake pedal and pump the brakes quickly. This will help you get maximum grip on the road. And having all-wheel drive isn't magic. It can help you get going on snow or ice, but it isn't any more help when you need to stop. You still need to drive slowly and watch out for other motorists. But the best thing you can do in bad weather is just stay home and stay off the roads. That frees up emergency services to deal with emergencies instead of rounding up stranded motorists.
Well, this is one winter storm, Alex. Yeah, sorry. This is one winter storm that you have to be very careful with the driving for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You said it, no doubt about it. And, of course, focusing on I-95, Dr. Postel, because it's not so cut and dry, not a slam dunk along some of those areas there along 95.
Yeah, totally agreed. I mean, it's a really tough call along that zone from D.C. through Baltimore and Philly and New York. And once you get there, though, north of New York, even along I-95 in southern New England, I do believe it's going to be mostly, if not entirely, snow. But it is in this zone that is going to be really tricky, where we may actually also introduce freezing rain and or sleet, probably more sleet. And that could make driving a little bit more tricky, although sleet can sometimes add a little bit of traction. Overall, it's a very tough call, especially with accumulation rates, and you can see that with those tight gradients in there going from almost nothing in central Jersey across the Delaware River, getting into several inches at least. Here's the timing going through this afternoon and evening. Philadelphia, for example, we'll sort of zoom in on you. 36 degrees. By this evening. That's probably going to be more of a rain event, and you're going to have to go inland a county or two to probably see entirely snow, and even that's not a sure thing, because once we get into the overnight hours, there may be a zone here where there's quite a bit of sleet, perhaps even as far west as Allentown and Bethlehem, as some warmer air loft tries to come in and complicate the matter. But overall, by tomorrow morning, everybody may go back over to snow as colder air loft comes in and the roads become slick once again. Stay tuned for all the latest.
Vicks Vapo Patch. Easy to wear with soothing Vicks Vapors for her, for you, for the whole family. Trusted soothing vapors from Vicks.
Tired of using the cup holder for your phone? You can't see it. You have to take it out to use it. And it's a dangerous distraction when you drive. Not anymore. Introducing the Cup Call Phone Mount, a brand new next-generation phone stand that fits right in your vehicle's cup holder, so your phone's always at your fingertips. Just drop it in and twist for a custom fit every time. Then just squeeze the sides to securely lock the phone in place. From jumbo screen mobile devices to smaller flip phones, even pop ring stands, it fits any size phone. The secret is the rubberized holders at the base that, with just a twist, contract or expand to lock it in place. Up top, the adjustable holder ratchets down on any size device until the button is pressed to release the phone. Look, we installed Cup Call in this cup holder with 50 pounds chained to the bottom, and amazingly, it lifts it all. Cup Call adjusts up or down and swivels left or right for a precise viewing angle, day or night. It even rotates 360 degrees, making it easier to follow your GPS. Plus, the open bottom means easy access for charger cables. And no more big cable messes. They'll stay neat and concealed underneath in the cup. Cup Call is perfect for cars, trucks, boats, RVs, even golf carts. Other holders require you to find the right cup size to fit. Cup Call works with any cup holder. Just drop it in and twist, then squeeze for a secure tight fit. Get Cup Call today for just $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double the offer. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of Air Police 4 face masks with 4 layers of protection, plus a customizable nose piece for a secure fit. Just pay separate fee, and we'll even pay for shipping. That's right, free shipping. This offer is not available on Amazon, so call or click now.
Call 1-800-884-9089. That's 1-800-884-9089, or visit getcupcall.com. So call 1-800-884-9089 now.
This isn't just any gift. This is a gift that makes the drawing, that goes on the fridge, which brightens the day of anybody grabbing some milk. Give the gift of making with hundreds of creative gifts for kids under $20. Michaels, made by you.
New phone? Yep, I got a new one when I switched over to Spectrum Mobile. They're faster overall and more reliable.
They all say that. It's just jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber?
Yeah, you know, balderdash.
Hooey. What? Did you sense any flapdoodle?
What is flapdoodle?
I think it's like hemming and hawing.
With a little bit of hogwash.
No, they're just faster and more reliable.
Okie dokie. No flim-flam.
Spectrum Mobile gives you the fastest overall speeds and the most reliable service coast to coast. It's a better way to mobile. Spectrum Mobile.
Hey, it's Stephen Plaza Automobile. We will now vehicle to your home. Stop by and now take delivery all from the comfort of your couch. Honda, Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, and Acura. Plaza Automobile, Brooklyn.
You won't stop block when you auto shop.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number. Let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement. Call this number or go to tax10000.com.
Join us on our mission to be informed and inspired.
Pattern. Available on your favorite platforms.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, periods of snow during the afternoon. Windy, high 33. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times, low 32. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And this is what it looks like if you're behind the wheel in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You see the snow coming down. What may not translate is what's happening on the road surface. You've got that frozen precipitation that comes down. At some point, it bonds to the surface, causes some very slick conditions. And I'll tell you, really the number one remedy when it comes to removing the ice and removing the snow is not salt, it's not a plow, it's not any kind of chemical. It's just warm temperatures and some sunlight. But guess what? That is not in the forecast today. We got more snow. There are many great men and women out there that are working very hard around the clock to try to keep the roads clear. They're doing a great job. But that being said, they cannot get every single spot. So there will be slick, icy conditions out there. Be careful and move around. Well, if you can avoid travel altogether, that's option number one. But if you have to get out and about, please go slow, take it easy out there. Well, the situation that we have here in Frederick is really a beautiful one. Beautiful town. You've got the snow that's coming down. It's just this gorgeous dusting that we've been seeing. A lot of people out and about. What is it with dogs? Dogs love snow. They truly do. The dogs have been happy as can be. You haven't seen too many cats out here, but I'll tell you what. It is going to be raining cats and dogs around parts of America, but here it is going to be a snow story. And if you think that we could get quite a bit, and we could in this area, maybe several inches or up to a foot, there's some spots here in the Northeast that could get several feet of snow, perhaps even some high elevation areas that could garner those numbers. But also there's the chance it could have some thunder sleet and thunder snow, certainly up in places like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Jim Cantori is going to be live later on into the evening hours. Now, let's go back to the studio live with Dr. Greg Postel with more.
Reynolds, thank you very much. And I kind of want to talk about the setup with this storm because it's interesting, very interesting, where we're going to have a system very close to the coast of New Jersey overnight tonight. And a track so close to the shore oftentimes means you're going to get a lot of rain with the system. Not so much this time around, and we can in part thank this very cold high pressure over Quebec. It is 1 degree right now in Montreal, 14 in Bangor, also 8 in Montpelier, Vermont. So extremely cold air is locked in place right now over New England and much of the Northeast. That is one of the reasons why, despite the track of this system being so close to the coast and west of the benchmark, if you're familiar with that word, this will likely be mostly snow event for New England, if not entirely, except maybe parts of the Cape. Watch the snow rain line sort of bob and weave around I-95 during the late afternoon today, with low pressure at the surface beginning to develop across the Delmarva and then be very near, let's say, southern Jersey by tomorrow morning. Now imagine that, an area of low pressure so in tight to the northeast, and yet we are still likely going to be all snow. Maybe New York City, we'll see about that. But certainly coastal Connecticut and Rhode Island and southern Massachusetts, with a storm that nicely tucked into the shoreline there, this is one of those systems that can thank in part that very cold air mass that is in place over Quebec for preventing this becoming a rainmaker for southern New England instead of essentially an entirely significant snowmaker. So that's what we've got with the track. But let's talk about amounts. right along the coast. This system will bring enough mild air in to make it mostly rain in southern Jersey. But then look at these numbers. I mean, we're still dealing with perhaps over a foot in southern Connecticut and Rhode Island. But then the big winner here in western Massachusetts and southern New York State, not far from Albany, and also in northern PA. All kinds of interesting dynamics, Alex, going on tonight in that zone, getting maybe 1 to 2 feet overall.
Yeah, it's certainly going to add up. And then we've got to deal with the issues right along the coast with some of those big winds. High wind warning into effect here tonight, 6 o'clock, Atlantic City. Some of those gusts could trigger coastal flood problems as well. So, yeah, we're going to watch these coastal zones here over the next several hours from essentially New England all the way down into parts of the mid-Atlantic. We've already been dealing with some stronger winds around Atlantic City. They're only going to get stronger here as the system moves up the coast. So there's what we've got here, working our way up from essentially the mid-Atlantic all the way into New England. The green areas, either coastal flood watches or warnings. We've got that, coastal Jersey. And then we've got the advisories as you head up into eastern sections of Massachusetts right now. And it's all thanks to our low pressure system, which is going to continue to strengthen as it moves northbound. Big, strong winds in the upper levels with the jet stream going to help that take shape. Of course, the snow is going to get dumped here across the landmass, but the winds whipping back towards the coast. It's going to have to push some of that water in, and some of those areas there along the coast there, you tend to flood in these types of situations. Those are the areas we're going to be watching pretty closely. So there's the low continuing to organize just off the Carolina coast. Will move its way northbound, and again, strengthening as it does that. The winds will really start to whip up here for us, starting from south and then moving towards the north as we head on through this evening. You can see by about 9, 10 o'clock, Philly to New York City, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts around Philly, and the winds will get stronger in a spot like Boston as well. Plenty more when it comes to Gail. We're going to time it out city by city next.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or drive up. For groceries, gifts, and more on your list, it's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
Attention! Are you on Medicaid or Medicare? The U.S. government recently announced that 12.2 million citizens are eligible for additional benefits beyond what they receive from original Medicare or Medicaid. These additional benefits include up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call Go Medicare today at 800-932-2698. Again, if you have Medicare or Medicaid, you may be one of over 12 million citizens eligible for additional benefits, including up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-932-2698. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with no obligation to enroll in anything. Call today, 800-932-2698.
This holiday, get the phones everyone wants on the 5G America's been waiting for.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Now, get one of our best 5G phones on us when you buy one, and get $500 when you switch. Plus, select unlimited plans include Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+.
100% obsessed with The Mandalorian.
I watch a lot of sports.
It has all my favorite shows.
And right now, the best in gaming is also on us.
It's like a gift on top of another gift. Gifts keep coming at you.
Everywhere.
This is 5G from America's most reliable network.
Do you have dry, cracked hands from constant washing, cold weather, and hard work? Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keefe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet.
Fairlife is milk that gives you more. It's ultra filtered for 50% more protein and 50% less sugar. This holiday, bring more to the table with Fairlife ultra filtered milk.
Before it was knit by him, before it was poured by her, before it was made by him or her, it was supplies given by you. Give the gift of making with Michael's same-day delivery and curbside pickup. Michael's, made by you.
Tired of daily insulin injections? Omnipod delivers insulin through a discreet waterproof pod to help simplify life. Just one small pod replaces up to 14 injections. It's game-changing, and the wireless controller helps deliver the right amount of insulin. Get started with a free 30-day Omnipod Dash trial today. Go to Omnipod.com for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplified life. Omnipod.
Wendy's Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that's got all other cheeseburgers feeling like... And now with the Breakfast Baconator, we're shaking and waking up your breakfast, bringing that big bacon energy all day long. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating.
I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf County from Frederick, Maryland, where the snow is coming down, possibly to the tune of a foot, maybe even a little bit more before all is said and done. Full coverage comes up after this.
In places like Oklahoma City, already plastered by record-setting snow from Winter Storm Gail. This was the scene yesterday. You actually shattered a daily snow record that had stood since 1911. Now, Gail is in the Northeast. On the way, who could see more than 2 feet, not 2 inches, but 2 feet of snow from this winter storm, Jeff?
And if that weren't all bad enough, ice, another big concern in parts of the Northeast. Find out who could face up to a 1/4 inch of ice or more, and where both snow and ice are already starting to cut power.
And welcome back to continued coverage here on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and we've got a full team assembled, not only in the field, but great producers, writers, directors, station, everyone, to give you the full coverage you need to keep you and your family safe and hopefully warm, too, as we battle with this winter system. It bears the name of Gail, and Gail is the snow producer, at least at our present location. Now, here in Frederick, it has been a busy morning. Had quite a few people that have been walking along here in Main Street. The roads have been treated pretty well. You'll notice that you got a lot of passersby. Occasionally, you see the dogs out here, and it has been truly barking, these guys, with the snow. Now, what's interesting about where we happen to be in Frederick is location really does make a difference with the amount of precipitation that you might get. Now, this is the heaviest snow they've had in more than a year, but the yearly average about 20.5 inches of snowfall in this spot. Now, if you were to go towards the coast, say towards D.C., the numbers drop exponentially. But the inverse is true if you go westbound. In fact, you get into 20 minutes or 20 miles from this location, guess what? They more than double that amount. More than 20 inches of snowfall. They go into like 40 or so. But the story that we're going to have here is going to be one where the roads could be increasingly dangerous as we roll forward in time, because these slick spots, well, during the nighttime, a lot of it's going to harden over to ice. So bridges and overpasses, per usual, are going to be susceptible to problems. Let's go right to the radar for a moment, and you see all the Crayolas that we've decorated the map. You see the various shades of blue, the green, the pink, the purple. We have that green. Well, that's going to be primarily some rain shower activity. And that's what we've had in places like the nation's capital. We've had some snow, but eventually we're going to have a switch over where it will go mainly to rain by the late afternoon into the evening hours. So not a great deal of accumulation expected there. However, you make your way to New York City, entirely different situation. We're all as quiet now, but then across much of the Big Apple and all 5 boroughs, you could have, well, excess of 5 inches of snowfall in some locations, and that's certainly going to cause some problems. One thing, this is one of my favorite maps we have of the Weather Channel, because it really does tell what we may be dealing with. Your road surface temperatures, and you see them across the map. In some locations, they are well above the freezing point. That's good. But some spots, especially in higher elevation, you see those numbers heading south, and when that when the snow begins to pile up, a lot of it is going to be certainly some rough goings, no doubt about it. A couple of things. You can just come back to me for a brief moment. You hear that? You can see it. This is one of the many plows we've seen going right on through. They're doing just some incredible work. They've been out here for the last several hours. Yeah, a lot to beep about, no question. They're doing some incredible work, not only in a lot of the city streets here, but out on the interstates. And you can do your part by giving them plenty of room, because they've got a job to do. They really do. So if you can avoid travel, by all means, that would be option one. Another option is that if you're trying to do some air travel today, you may not have an option. Your fate may have already been decided. You're pretty much stuck to the ground until conditions improve, and they should later tomorrow and certainly in the days to come. But it is a snow story. If you are in a safe spot, certainly it is something that is beautiful to see, but just don't forget about some of the dangers that you can have with some of the snowfall. One guy who knows this kind of weather better than most is Jeff Morrow. Let's send it back to Jeff in the studio. Jeff, I got to tell you, we know they're dangers, but it is beautiful to see.
It is. It's very pretty, and for most, it's the first, of course, big snow of the season. but that's little consolation if you have to get out there and travel in it, as Reynolds was mentioning. This is a very wide-ranging storm system here, folks, from the snow that Reynolds was describing up here in Maryland and now encompassing a lot of Pennsylvania, down into Virginia, and then you get into rain and then even severe thunderstorms potentially as you head all the way down into parts of Florida. The back edge or the western edge of this storm is pretty much starting to fall apart, if you will, back here in Indiana. Not before dumping some snow out here, though. Indianapolis, though, still hovering around 32, still could get some very light snow or some flurries. Again, this is how much has fallen in the last 24 hours, but this will pale in comparison to the amounts that we're thinking we're going to see here in parts of the east over time. Now, as we head into the mid-Atlantic, it's mostly rain here now across North Carolina, but wherever you see the pink shading here in parts of Virginia, that is ice, and some of that's still even into the high country of northern North Carolina. Temperatures at Boone right now at about 32 degrees. Roanoke had about 1/10 of an inch of ice officially. Now you're mixing with some rain, temperatures eking just above freezing. So everywhere you see one of these symbols, that was a report of some ice, and it was pretty widespread. In fact, the ice was really causing some problems in southern West Virginia near the Beckley area last time I checked. Then it becomes all snow farther up the Shenandoah Valley and on up toward Frederick, where Reynolds was just reporting from. Harrisburg is getting some fairly decent snow all the way up into central Pennsylvania. It's snowing pretty hard at Altoona, University Park, and the snow just now starting to approach the Philadelphia area. Again, these are your ice accumulations, about 1/3 of an inch at Pulaski here in extreme western Virginia, and Staniford out there in West Virginia, about 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. That's enough to bring down some tree limbs because that ice can get very, very heavy. I mentioned State College, University Park, 23. Yeah, that's all snow there, and they're going to get a pretty good snow dumping, as will Harrisburg, although it might mix with a little bit of sleet there. And then moving on up toward Allentown and Wilkesboro-Scranton, just about to get into some of that heavier snow. Baltimore, you started off with some snow, but look what's lurking to the south here. D.C., you're probably starting to mix over just a little bit. But again, as we head over toward the Philadelphia area, just now starting to get some snow, some lighter snow into the area. It should pick up, but could eventually go over to all rain, believe it or not. It's going to be a close call. Let's go to Mike Seidel. Speaking of Philadelphia, he is standing by there in the city of brotherly love. Mike?
Hey, good afternoon, Jeff. The snow is now underway in Philadelphia. About 20 minutes ago here in Center City, we're at Logan Circle, and behind me you can see City Hall, and it's getting a little fuzzy as the visibility starts to drop. It's still light snow right now, and temperatures here in the city and at the airport, just checking 33 at the airport. I'm looking at my thermometer now. We're at 32.5, so very critical temperatures. All the roads have been treated. With that said, as we often talk about car surfaces, metal surfaces, and the ground is starting to show a little bit of white here in Philadelphia. And the wind right now gusting 25 to 30 miles an hour. So there's a bit of a wind chill, and those winds are going to ramp up. Here in Philadelphia, it's all about where you are watching us from, where you live. Let me tell you how tight the gradient is. We're officially forecasting 1 inch at the airport, 6 inches in City Hall, just down the street, and about 1 foot out in Norristown. Now, from the airport to Norristown is about 20 miles as the crow flies. So you go from 1 inch to about 1 foot of snow. That just gives you the illustration of how tight this snowfall gradient is going to be, all because of what happens later on this evening and overnight as you go south and east from the suburbs. So if you're living in Center City, we're thinking, 5-6 inches. But if you live out in Bucks County, out in Abington, northern Montgomery County, over in Chester County, Chesterbrook, Valley Forge, King of Prussia, we're talking generally 8 to 12 inches. But again, if you're in South Philly, down towards Wilmington, 1 inch or less. So it's going to be a wide range of accumulations, and that really affects the impacts. You get more snow, it's heavy, wet snow. We have these winds gusting over 40 miles an hour. That is going to knock out power. We have a long way to go. This is going to continue right through overnight and into early hours of tomorrow morning. And again, later on this evening, we'll likely see a mix to sleet and rain as you get into the city and certainly across the Delaware River in Jersey. That's not a problem really for Reynolds Wolf out in Frederick, Maryland. Reynolds, I've been listening to you, but I didn't hear how much you've had so far. Give me an idea how many inches you've got on the ground out there in Frederick County.
I would say, Mike, it is safe to say probably 2 or 3, maybe a little bit more. What's interesting, though, is in our location, we've already had some plows that have come through a couple of times, and it certainly is better conditions now than we had earlier, but it continues to fall. By the way, we had a snow emergency that was declared for this area at 10 o'clock this morning, and what's interesting is that we didn't have much snow to speak of, so people were wondering, when is it going to show up? Clearly, it is here, and clearly it is going to continue to come down. For those of you at home, you're sitting on the couch and you're watching this, what a spectacle. I mean, you've got snowflakes coming in all different directions, but eventually destiny is going to be right to the ground, and it's beginning to pile up. And with it, man, I'll tell you, it could be kind of treacherous for some folks. With the snow emergencies, by the way, people are advised to keep their cars from parked on the street. You won't want to move them if you happen to be in the downtown area. They do have the parking garages that are open for free, so you have the means, you have the ability to get your car there. That certainly will help because they're going to have to get rid of the stuff, right? I mean, they have to, so city services can continue. You've got a lot of people out here that are still working. They don't have a choice. They've got to get out there, deliver packages. It is the holiday season after all. So they need these roads in the best condition that they possibly can muster. And I'll tell you, off in the distance, you see some flashing lights of some of the plows. These men and women have been out here since early, treating the roads with a variety of salt, some of the kind of spray, and we're not really sure what it is, but they've certainly been doing a decent job. But regardless of the great job they're doing on the surface, it's still getting covered up by more of the snow, by more of the sleet. And although it is quite pretty, it is slick. We've seen more than a few people take a tumble here or there on these conditions. So if you can avoid going out and about, do so. But if you can do so safely, and if you're a fan of the snow, you may be enjoying this quite a bit. Hard to believe we just left hurricane season, the tropical season, but now, Chris, we flipped the switch. It is winter, and winter is certainly in Frederick. It is here. Let's send it back to you, Chris.
All right, thanks so much, Reynolds. Can't wait to continue to follow up with you and see how things change hour by hour because it's that type of an event. Winter storm, major winter storm that's only beginning. I mean, we're talking about just the appetizer here. Wait till late this evening and then especially overnight tonight for Philadelphia, getting into New York City and eventually there in Boston. Pennsylvania, lower New York, and areas there in the Berkshires, that's where we think the bullseye will be for the highest snowfall totals. So you want those 20-plus inch totals. I think we're going to have it around Scranton or Wilkes-Barre. Areas just outside of Poughkeepsie, a little north, once you get up into some of that higher elevation there around the Catskills, the lower Hudson River Valley, and there in the Berkshires, that's where we'll have that potential of 18 to potentially 24-plus inches. In the big cities, we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 inches. That could be the case here in New York City, especially to your north, and then in and around Boston, Providence, Hartford, that includes you, New Haven, Connecticut, and areas there around Harrisburg, and many other locations like Allentown, Bethlehem, and Reading, Lancaster as well. So winter storm warnings for 50 million of you, and then on the fringes of that, you've got winter weather advisories. So here's how it all times out. The snow has arrived across much of the state of Pennsylvania. Will continue to work its way to the north. So New York City, we're expecting that snow to come in just before dinner time. So say around 5, 6 p.m. Kind of make that your cutoff because you don't want to be caught out in that once it starts. And it's going to accumulate very quickly. It's not going to take several hours before the roads become treacherous. It's going to happen within minutes here once the snow starts, especially with how cold it has been, especially across southern New England. Overnight tonight, Jeff, really getting the snow hard across Pennsylvania, New York, and then into New England. And then it's a quick moving storm. So it's able to put those kinds of totals in a 12-hour period. That's what's so impressive.
It is impressive, and this is just the beginning of the winter season, really. Let's get you caught up on what we know about Winter Storm Gail right now. Pennsylvania's governor says officials are prepared for the storm. They expect no major impacts, at least they'll have to distribute the COVID-19 vaccine, which became available for use for the first time in the U.S. just this week. In Connecticut, officials have activated over 1,600 highway workers. They also have materials stocked at roughly 50 DOT facilities. And New York City's mayor's office has issued a travel advisory from late this afternoon right through tomorrow morning. They request you not drive into the city if you don't have to. New York City schools also open today for in-person and remote learning tomorrow. School officials suggest parents have plans ready in case tomorrow becomes an all-remote learning day. Another troublesome development from Gail, of course, is some ice that we have to deal with. This is a tower cam here, and it kind of hard to see because you have some ice on the lens of the camera here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Temperature hovering right around 32 degrees. We've had a lot of widespread reports, actually, of up to a ½ inch or maybe 1/3 of an inch of ice. You get that much kind of ice accretion, as they call it, on trees and power lines and branches, and things can really go downhill in a big worry. So let's take a look at Blacksburg right now. We're talking about 32 degrees, so whatever is falling probably still is freezing. It's right near that cutoff point. You can see to the south of Blacksburg, though, we do have some green on the map. That is some rain, so it's close to maybe mixing over. Roanoke looks like you're going over to all rain now as temperatures are at 33 degrees, but earlier, reported at the airport anyway, about 1/10 of an inch of ice, and our own Jen Carfagno was there this morning reporting as that precipitation came in. The ice has moved a little bit farther north from the Roanoke area, then it becomes all snow as you head farther up the Shenandoah Valley, but it'll mix over even in some of those areas. A lot of places from near Charlottesville all the way to Roanoke, and we mentioned the Blacksburg area. Southern West Virginia really taking it on the chin as far as some ice and sleet accumulation. But again, as I mentioned, as you head up the Shenandoah Valley and on up into parts of Maryland, yeah, you're talking still snow at this hour. So let's talk about how much has fallen. I heard you talk to Mike Seidel. You have about, what, 2.5, 3 inches on the ground now, Reynolds?
I would say so, and I got to tell you, all the snow can be different from time to time. This is kind of a wet snow. You can see it's actually kind of picking up on the clothes, on the hat, picking up on everything. And we're going to see a bit more of it, Jeff. We do have a ways to go over the next several hours, and certainly overnight, I think we're going to see even more. When the wind comes down and carries some of the flakes, sometimes it can stack up a bit more, so it's going to be interesting. Hey, more interesting coverage on Winter Storm Gail continues coming up in just a few moments. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
This year, more than ever, their love keeps you centered. Tell them with a gift from the Center of Me collection. Exclusively at K.
Ready or not. Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that's got all other cheeseburgers feeling like. And now with the Breakfast Baconator, we're shaking and waking up your breakfast, bringing that big bacon energy all day long. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating.
Where else can you get this type of drama? Where else does history hang from the rafters? Where else is your own city home to your biggest rivals?
And 30 feet is still in range.
Where else can a city this loud be this slept on?
Where else is history still in the making? Oh my goodness! Where else?
It's Empire Today's biggest sale, the 50-50-50 sale. 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation. That's right, half off your entire project. You can save thousands. Empire's 50-50-50 sale won't last long. Don't miss 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Keeping your oysters growing while keeping your business growing has you swamped. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database, so you can start hiring right away. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/promo.
If you are struggling with an alcohol or drug addiction, you can receive local evidence-based treatment from experienced healthcare professionals. At Recovery Centers of America, we will help you or your loved one stop using drugs or alcohol and begin a life of recovery. Recovery Centers of America is a licensed, accredited addiction treatment leader in the United States. Our state-of-the-art treatment campuses are located across the country, including near your home. We provide residential inpatient treatment and a full spectrum of outpatient services, including counseling and medication-assisted treatment. With Recovery Centers of America's group and individual therapy, specialized programs, and supportive alumni community, you can achieve long-lasting sobriety and recovery. You will receive the addiction treatment that works for you at Recovery Centers of America. We answer the phone and admit patients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call us now.
1-800-714-6618.
Can stop these crews from opening up the road. Don't miss all new episodes of Heavy Rescue Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Novartis.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Entresto with an ACE inhibitor with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 32 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, snow along with gusty winds at times. High 34. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times. Low 32. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Here's a fun one. Find the cloud in this picture. Look closely. I'll give you a second. Find the cloud. Did you find it here? If yes, excellent job. That water holds future clouds. Sun's working on it as we speak. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, and it's finally snowing in Philadelphia. In fact, it won't be long before we eclipse all of last year's snowfall total of 0.3 of an inch of snow. Look at this. Look, the daffodils are already popping up from the ground because we've had some warm weather recently. Don't worry, they'll be okay. I've seen them come up in Georgia in January and bloom in late January. This is Logan Square, Center City, and look at the snow coming down here. It's picking up. Fountain, of course, is turned off. Airport, just checking, their visibility is down to 1.5 miles. And speaking of the airport, Philadelphia International has canceled 25 flights today and 22 flights tomorrow in and out. System-wide, about 750 today and about 500 tomorrow. So there's been a fair amount of flights canceled, but not the numbers we typically see in a storm like this when we'd have 1,500, 2,000 or more. Because of the pandemic, there are fewer planes in the air. You can see how the snow has really picked up, and we're expecting at least 3, 4, 5 inches right here. Down at the airport, we're only forecasting about 1 inch of snow. And across in Jersey, where you're under an advisory, 1 inch or less because of the warm air coming in, and it all changes over. But right now, it's all snow. It'll stay all snow for a while. We're about 32 right here in the city. Out in the suburbs, temperatures right now running at 28 or 29. Those are the areas that are going to get plastered with 8 to 12 inches of snow. Winter storm warnings here in the Philadelphia metro area go until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. There's the other side of the storm and the warm sector in eastern North Carolina. Chris Bruin, more on that now with the chance of some severe weather today.
Yeah, and believe it or not, the Outer Banks, not far from where the snow is one of those spots, along with Florida. So you're looking at Hatteras, North Carolina. Notice your temperature there, 65 degrees. We're way cooler than that in Jacksonville Beach, where we're sitting in the low 50s right now. Boy, is it a raw day in Jacksonville. We've got thunderstorms pushing through Gainesville right now. Tough drive here along I-75, and there is a risk of an isolated tornado, especially in eastern North Carolina. We're talking about Cape Lookout down towards Wrightsville Beach, including you in Hatteras, and even there around Kill Devil Hills, maybe even towards the Tidewater. So we got to watch out for that. So 2 areas that I'm going to circle. That's where we've got the thunder and lightning and the instability. It'll be there on the tail end of our front through Florida, and then again in the Carolinas where there's enough warm air to cause these storms to kind of fire up. Let's start here, though, in Florida. Boy, look at this cluster of storms. We're talking hundreds of lightning strikes out over the Gulf of Mexico, and those are going to make it in towards Tampa Bay probably in the next 3 to 4 hours. Could even be before that. So we're going to track this as it approaches Clearwater Beach in St. Petersburg, even getting down into Tampa, Sarasota, Bradenton, and eventually into Southwest Florida tonight. So a turbulent night, that's for sure, and that risk for severe weather greatest there and west central Florida. So Tampa Bay up towards Crystal River and there along the Forgotten Coast, say around Cedar Key. All right, so we're going to have to watch some of these cells that kind of roll up in here along the bend of Florida. And then Gainesville, potentially heavy rainfall. Expect Pondy on the roads. Travel is going to be tough here, especially where it typically kind of clogs at the Florida Turnpike I-75 interchange just south of Ocala. That's going to be a spot to watch. We got construction going on. This is only going to make matters worse with the added rainfall. And then temperatures are going to come crashing down behind it. We're back into the 30s and then 40s as we go into tomorrow night. So very cold air setting to return here across the state of Florida. And it's all thanks to our potent front. And then here across eastern North Carolina, we're going to watch this as it pushes towards Kinston, New Bern. You're going to get clipped by this as well as Morehead City. We could have some damaging wind gusts. I think that'll be a big concern. And the threat here of, say, a waterspout or a brief twister. Can't rule it out completely. We've got that risk of those severe threats. Torcon's on the lower end. So not a major outbreak by any means, but we can't rule it off the table completely. Jeff?
All right, well, you talked about the winds with potential severe thunderstorms. Well, winds just by the storm itself are really gusting along the northeast coast. This is a live look at Ocean City, Maryland, where gusts are right around 30 miles an hour right now, and they probably will get even stronger. Doesn't look like anybody out on the boardwalk there, and no doubt it's not the best day to take a stroll down the boardwalk there or up along the Jersey Shore or Long Island either. It's just a nasty, nasty day along the immediate coast. Reason being, of course, we've got our storm, which is just now really starting to get very, very powerful. There are very strong upper level winds with this particular system. And of course, the flow around it will continue to pile drive all this moisture. And of course, the air moving very quickly over the coast. In fact, we're expecting a wind gust to get even stronger as we head through the afternoon. Look at Philadelphia, 35 to 40 miles an hour. And I do have to mention, with winds gusting over 25, maybe 30 miles an hour, some far inland areas with all that heavy, wet snow, yeah, that'll bring down a lot of trees and power lines. And that would be the case across New England as well. Boston getting up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. Look at Philly, could even approach 50 miles an hour. Really impressive stuff.
Wow, a new Buick for me?
To James from James. That's just what I wanted.
Is this a new Buick?
I Secret Santed myself.
I shouldn't have, but I have been very good this year.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Don't forget you this holiday season. Get an SUV from Buick. Celebrate the holidays with Buick. Now everyone can get GM employee pricing on most Buick SUV models. Use it to get over $7,600 total value on this Envision Essence.
The votes have been counted, and the small business revolution is headed to Fredonia, New York.
We've never done one of these in the snow. Yeah!
But this year presents a challenge like nothing we've seen before.
It happened really quick.
It's really hit close to home. How did this all change in a week?
Hosts Amanda Brinkman and Ty Pennington join the fight as Deluxe and the Small Business Revolution team work to revitalize the town, one small business at a time.
During COVID, to have your support with me, it's all worth it.
Now streaming on Hulu, Prime Video, and smallbusinessrevolution.org.
At Target, order today and get it today. Just use Target's same-day delivery or drive up. for groceries, gifts, and more on your list. It's the fastest way to get what you need today at Target.
Shall I put her in snow mode?
Nope.
How about off-road mode?
Why?
You know what? I'll be in chill mode.
ProPilot Assist with NaviLink. Available on the all-new Nissan Rogue.
This holiday, get the phones everyone wants on the 5G America's been waiting for.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Now, get one of our best 5G phones on us when you buy one, and get $500 when you switch. Plus, select unlimited plans include Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
100% obsessed with The Mandalorian.
I watch a lot of sports.
It has all my favorite shows.
And right now, the best in gaming is also on us.
It's like a gift on top of another gift. Gifts keep coming at you.
Everywhere.
This is 5G from America's most reliable network.
Attention! Are you on Medicaid or Medicare? The U.S. government recently announced that 12.2 million citizens are eligible for additional benefits beyond what they receive from original Medicare or Medicaid. These additional benefits include up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call Go Medicare today at 800-932-2698. Again, if you have Medicare or Medicaid, you may be one of over 12 million citizens eligible for additional benefits, including up to $1,000 of dental credit, up to $1,200 to spend at your local pharmacy, up to $144 added back to your Social Security check every month. To see if you qualify, call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-932-2698. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with no obligation to enroll in anything. Call today, 800-932-2698.
Want your brain better? Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva has clinically proven ingredients that fuel 5 indicators of brain performance: memory, focus, accuracy, learning, and concentration. Try our new gummies for 30 days and see the difference.
Geico makes the claims process so easy. I can file and manage my claim all in the Geico app. It's not just easy, it's giving your dog your fitness tracker easy. Ah, good boy. Yes, you got it. Woo! Already got my 40,000 steps today. Can I get a what? No pain, no gain.
It's Geico Easy with fast and convenient claim service.
Look how fast I'm running. Good boy, Chester.
We expect a significant winter storm to begin moving its way across the state. I have signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency beginning at 2 p.m. today. This will be a statewide weather event, and every county is currently under either a watch or a warning of some sort. A winter storm warning for the entirety of New Jersey north of I-95, a winter storm advisory for the entire southwest quadrant, and either coastal flood warnings, storm warnings, or high wind warnings for those nearer the shore.
Here in Pennsylvania, there are 67 counties and 61 are under winter storm warnings. I've never seen that much of the Commonwealth under a winter storm warning. Gives you an idea of the width and breadth of the storm. Good afternoon. Welcome back to Philadelphia. Yes, Independence Hall around the corner, the Rocky Steps around the corner. Behind me, we've got the Philadelphia Free Library. Over my right shoulder and over my left shoulder, we have the old courthouse. Very historic town, as you know, and we've got some great visuals already. Look at the snow sticking down on the ground, in the bushes. Temperature right now right at freezing. Our winds have been running about 15 miles an hour. The airport's gusted 25 miles an hour, and we're right at 32 here. The airport checking in at 33, and again, a big gradient of snowfall accumulations. We're expecting about an inch at the airport, about 10 miles south of here. In town, about 6. And out in the suburbs, you know, Chester, Bucks County, Montgomery County, those areas. You're familiar with those areas like Valley Forge and over towards Abington and Conshohocken, those areas. 8 to 12 inches of snow. It's all a function of how much changeover and mixing we get this evening and overnight. It will go back to snow before it ends early tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind here in Philadelphia. And remember, last year, 3/10 of an inch of snow. I think we've almost got that in the past 45 minutes. Let's go to Reynolds Wolf. Reynolds checking the observation at Frederick Airport, 28 degrees, so you're deep in the cold air. Visibility is a half a mile in moderate snow, so you're doing better than us, and you're also about 4 degrees colder. That makes a big, big difference on how much you're going to end up with there in western Maryland.
Yeah, no question about it. We've seen quite a bit. It's amazing. It's just the difference a few hours will make. We got here this morning. It was maybe a stray flurry or two, but other than that, I mean, it's just been really a sea change of conditions, especially as we got into the afternoon and into the evening hours. We've had quite a few people that have been out about. Go ahead, sir. It's all good, man. It's your town, not ours. Keep going, buddy.
It's not. It's America's town.
It's America's town. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, it is Gail. It's Gail snow that we're dealing with now when it comes to this winter storm. Certainly a lot to yell about. There we go. Snow angels. What can I tell you? Well, the demons with this system that we're going to be dealing with will include not only some heavy snowfall at times, some locations possibly up to a foot, but also there's a chance that later on into the evening hours we could have some thunder sleet or thunder snow. Now, Jim Cantori is going to be joining us later on in the broadcast as we go into the evening hours, and it'd be very interesting to see what they do get up in Bethlehem. But what's interesting about our location is on average we have 20.5 inches of snowfall at this spot. But then you go some 20 miles to our immediate west and something changes. What changes is the elevation. So when you go up, guess what? You've got colder air aloft, and with it we see those numbers begin to stack up. Are they still back there? They're gone. The snow isn't, though. We see plenty of it that's been out and about. You'd be surprised the great characters we have met today that have been out and about. And I'll tell you, we're going to see more of the snow coming down. A lot of people enjoying themselves. It is one thing when you've got snow early in the season. There's something magical with the first significant snowfall, but it always seems that into those late spring snowfalls, it can be kind of treacherous and something you don't want to deal with. But this, for a lot of people right now, well, I'll tell you what, it is certainly a sight to behold. But be careful out there because there will be some slick spots on roadways and conditions in terms of travel could be pretty tough. And Chris, I know that already in terms of air travel, that is going to be a huge mess and hopefully will improve as we get to tomorrow afternoon for parts of the area. But I still think Logan, oh my gosh, in Boston, they're going to be backed up for quite a bit. No question.
Oh, yeah, same could be said there in LaGuardia, JFK. I mean, just expect your flight to be canceled. It's better to be safe than sorry and expect to postpone it till you don't even want to take off in conditions like what you're going to be seeing overnight tonight. By the way, update Bethesda, Maryland. That's just north of D.C. by about 5 miles, 2 inches of snow, and they've just now gone over to sleet. So we are seeing the inputs come down quickly on the front end. We are going to go over to sleet and rain. That will cut off some of those accumulations, and then we'll have some snow on the back end as colder air. We've already seen reports of sleet and ice across much of Virginia, and you can see now the snow really coming down across much of the state of Pennsylvania. You saw Mike Seidel in Philadelphia. He's getting in on the snow. New York, it's starting to encroach. It's about 50 miles away, so give it a couple more hours, and I think we're going to be seeing snow here before long. And then there's a look at the totals. Hardest hit locations will certainly be around the tri-state. So we're talking northeastern Pennsylvania, the lower Hudson River Valley, the Catskills, and into the Berkshires in southern New England. A close-up view here of I-95, 4 to 8 inches around Philadelphia, and then 10 to 12 in New York City.
This year we learned anything's possible. Even fast delivery on the perfect last-minute gift from your Walmart store. Really fast, really perfect. Let's end the year nailing it.
Elite soldiers depend on night vision binoculars while conducting some of the world's most covert operations.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification to see spectacular live-action sports. Take it with you when you go sightseeing to get up close and personal. If you like bird watching, they're a must. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
See for miles on the water with contrast and clarity.
Spot a fish during the day or a hungry gator at night. The military's been using expensive night vision technology for years.
And as a former fighter pilot, I depended on it. Watch this. When it's pitch black, you can't see a thing.
But Night Hero's powerful laser lights up your target instantly. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. They even have rubber eye cups and a full range of focal adjustment. You could spend thousands on night vision binoculars.
Or you can call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars
with laser illumination technology for just $39.99.
But it gets even better. Order right now and you can double it. And get 2 Night Hero binoculars by Atomic Beam,
plus our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee.
We'll even ship them to you free. That's right, free shipping and handling. That's 2 Night Hero binoculars, the Atomic Beam flashlight, and free shipping. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. Order now.
Call 1-800-730-2448. That's 1-800-730-2448. Call or visit buynighthero.com. So call 1-800-730-2448 or visit buynighthero.com now.
The votes have been counted, and the small business revolution is headed to Fredonia, New York.
We've never done one of these in the snow. Yeah!
But this year presents a challenge like nothing we've seen before.
It happened really quick.
It's really hit close to home. How did this all change in a week?
Hosts Amanda Brinkman and Ty Pennington join the fight as Deluxe and the Small Business Revolution team work to revitalize the town, one small business at a time.
During COVID, to have your support with me, it's all worth it.
Now streaming on Hulu, Prime Video, and smallbusinessrevolution.org.
Hi, I'm Frankie Thompson, the best dressed assistant locker room manager in the league. I'm here to help you protect your clothes from getting damaged in the wash. Nah, that's why I use new Downy Defy. It helps stop stretching, fading, and fuzzing. That's what's up.
We have an assistant locker room manager?
Help protect your clothes with new Downy Defy Damage.
This year we got creative with our dollars. But with Walmart's low prices, you still know how to do it up and keep costs down. Let's end the year enjoying more.
Find the cloud in this picture. Look closely. I'll give you a second. Did you find it here? Excellent job. That water holds future clouds. Sun's working on it as we speak. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
And welcome back to continued coverage here on the Weather Channel. I am meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, and this is Winter Storm Gail. Quick word to all the kids that may be tuning in out there. If you're deciding what you want to do with your life, what you're going to be when you grow up, if you want a job where you'll never be bored because no 2 days are exactly the same, be a meteorologist, because again, no 2 days are ever the same. And certainly when it comes to weather, sometimes no 2 minutes or hours are ever the same. And I can tell you the situation we had earlier, a few hours ago, was one where conditions were relatively clear. We had, again, really free of snow everywhere, but now the snow is coming down and covering everything, including yours truly. The hat, again, the jacket, just getting pasted with the stuff. And you know what? We've got a lot more to come. You look down this roadway, you see, hey guys, how you doing? Got these guys walking on through. Off in the distance, visibility is becoming somewhat limited because of what you're seeing closer to, well, to you, the snow that's coming down. A couple of cars off there in the distance making their way through the intersection. You see some, oh, you okay? You all right? Oh, that's a recovery. This person over here with the snow shovel was making their way out towards us. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to speak to them, but yeah, they got the snow shovel. Let me walk over here one moment. You guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a microphone on you. We got to keep distance, social distancing, but you guys are just trying to clean out the best you can, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. First big snow.
For snow angels, did you?
Did not mess up the snow angels. If you guys want to make more, I'll step away and you guys can have at it.
All right, not the Redskins, baby.
Okay, go Redskins. Goodness, a Washington team. That's right. All right, folks, well, I'm going to pick up the glove. They're going to make the snow angels. And I'll tell you, if you are a fan of the Washington football team, this is a touchdown in its own right. Snow angels in the making. Now, one thing to consider, though, is we're going to see a bit more of this. Although we could see in some locations maybe 4 to 5 inches, maybe as much as 6 or 7, maybe 10 here in parts of the downtown area, we're going to see a lot more in some spots. In fact, up in Pennsylvania, it would not be out of the question to get a bit more. Nice job, guys. Yeah, so more snow in parts of Pennsylvania. We're going to have Jim, Jim Cantore is going to be up coming up later, Jeff, and I know it's going to be interesting. Jim was talking earlier about the chance of having thunder sleet or thunder snow. Could we see another magical moment from Jim Cantore tonight? It's always possible. You never know, Jeff.
I don't know. I think you just missed another magical moment behind you there. There was a snow worm. I will just leave it at that. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look right now at some rough surf here. Now, this is a place that I'm very familiar with. This is out on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, right along the North Carolina coast. Some beachfront homeowners losing some steps right down to the shore this morning. The area under both coastal flood and high water advisories until midnight. Severe thunderstorms are possible, which is what we want to talk about right now. Yeah, some rough surf there on the Outer Banks, and no doubt it's because of this very strong onshore wind that they're getting right now. Some big thunderstorms, and we'll get a little bit closer on those in just a moment, right around the New Bern area, but also down into Florida. See, this storm has a little bit of everything. We're talking about the snow there with Reynolds and some ice and sleet in there as well. Now we're talking about the severe weather threat, and we've got some thunderstorms. Don't appear to be severe right now, moving up toward the Jacksonville area. But, yeah, as Chris mentioned earlier, a big line of storms potentially moving toward the Tampa Bay area in the next couple of hours here. That's where the severe weather threat is highest on the west coast of Florida, from Tampa all the way up to, I would say, about Cedar Key. Again, the radar forecast kind of picking that up a little bit, moving into the Tampa area by about 4 or 5, and then by 6, 7 o'clock, it's pretty much out of the picture. So again, there is that line, a lot of lightning just offshore, and then there's a little bit lesser line of showers and storms, but this may pick up in intensity, moving up toward the Morehead City area. Right now, looks like the biggest chance of any severe thunderstorms would be in eastern North Carolina, including the Outer Banks, where Chris looks like we have a torcon of at least 3 at this hour. Back to you.
Well, Winter Storm Gail leaving a glaze of ice behind in central North Carolina this morning. This was from the town of Oak Ridge, just between Winston-Salem and Greensboro. The freezing rain this morning turning to showers now as temperatures slowly warmed up. We're still in the mid-30s. It's a cold rain, but at least it's not icy. And about 75 miles to the north, Blacksburg, Virginia, under a winter storm warning until midnight. So we are far from done yet. They're already getting a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain, even some rain this afternoon. But by the end of the day, snow accumulations here could be anywhere from 1 to, say, 3+ inches, and perhaps as much as of a quarter of an inch of ice. So let's get a look at some city timings, because we have already seen the snow. I'm getting reports out of Baltimore over 1 inch, D.C. a dusting there on the west end, Bethesda, Maryland over 2 inches, Reston, Virginia saw between 1 to 2 inches, and we're officially now starting to see that sleet as forecasted starting to mix in. So that will kind of halt our accumulations for the time being, but expect more overnight tonight. So very heavy band of snow coming in here across central Maryland. You can see Albany, New York there on the bottom right of your screen, 16 degrees, and we're still waiting for those snowflakes to arrive. Pittsburgh, it is really coming down right now, and southern Pennsylvania is starting to get treacherous here for travelers. So remember, this is the forecast of snow still to come. We're looking at anywhere from 4 to 6 inches here around Pittsburgh on top of what we have already seen. And then we work our way a little bit farther north. Scranton, the snow is just beginning. This is where we're going to be hit with potentially 1 to 2 feet of snow. We're spread out all across the eastern seaboard from Virginia into New England, Connecticut, and Massachusetts.
The Lab, brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that Maya markdown on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
No, really, there are no markdowns, just great rates.
Pull her home back in 20 minutes. I'll hook you up with the good parts.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Look, this isn't my first rodeo. And let me tell you something. I wouldn't be here if I thought reverse mortgages took advantage of any American senior. Or worse, that it was some way to take your home. It's just a loan designed for older homeowners, and it's helped over 1 million Americans. A reverse mortgage loan isn't some kind of trick to take your home. It's a loan, like any other. Big difference is how you pay it back.
Find out how reverse mortgages really work with AAG's free no-obligation reverse mortgage guide. Eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay bills, medical costs, and more. Call now and get your free info kit. Call 1-800-231-7626.
Other mortgages are paid each month, but with a reverse mortgage, you can pay whatever you can when it works for you. Or you can wait and pay it off in one lump sum when you leave your home.
Discover the option that's best for you. Call today and find out more in AAG's free no-obligation reverse mortgage loan guide. Access tax-free cash and stay in the home you love.
You've probably been investing in your home for years, making monthly mortgage payments, doing the right thing. And it's become your family's heart and soul. Well, that investment can give you tax-free cash just when you need it.
Learn how homeowners are strategically using a reverse mortgage loan to cover expenses, pay for health care, preserve your portfolio, and so much more.
Look, reverse mortgages aren't for everyone, but I think I've been around long enough to know what's what. I'm proud to be a part of AAG. I trust them. I think you can too.
Trust AAG for the best reverse solutions. Call 1-800-231-7626 so you can
retire better.
This holiday season, give the gift of Spectrum Mobile. Get our Buy the Gig data plan plus a new Samsung smartphone for as little as $19 per month. Or choose limited data plan. Spectrum Mobile gives you the flexibility to mix plans your family's needs. Also include free nationwide talk and text with no added taxes and fees, plus no contracts. Join the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation. Switch to Spectrum Mobile. Call 855-296-4342. Click or visit a Spectrum store near you.
Gigi's mashed potatoes, and Steph's apple pie. Even if your loved ones can't make it for the holidays, their dishes can still make it to the table. It's gonna be great. McCormick, by your side for over 130 holiday seasons.
They say it's boring to talk about the weather. I say it's boring not to. Get into the Out There, the Weather Channel.
A winter storm warning is in effect. Currently in our area, 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, snow along with gust winds at times. High 34. Tonight, snow along with gusty winds at times. Low 32. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, we're going to take a little break from the snow. We actually got a brand new tornado warning. As indicated, there's a chance we could have severe weather, and that's what we're seeing here in Carolina. So heads up in and around New Bern. You aren't officially under this tornado warning, but the storm is moving in your vicinity, so we got to watch out here. A tornado warning, a radar indicated rotation here with this cell right there to the east, southeast of Maysville and parts of Craven and Jones counties here in North Carolina. So let's show you the velocity and what we're looking at. See that little bright spin up right there? It doesn't look as pronounced as it did, say, about 5 minutes ago, but still something we got to watch here very closely. Looks like it's going to stay to the east of Maysville, but kind of paralleling parts of the highway there, working your way into New Bern. So we'll just treat this as a dangerous storm moving towards the New Bern vicinity. And now's the time to get into your safe place, lowest level of your home, get inside as quickly as possible. Either way, we're expecting damaging winds with this and the potential here of more spin-ups and twisters. So treat this as a dangerous situation pushing towards the east side of Maysville. Maysville, working along US 70 north of Havelock, and then getting into New Bern perhaps in the next 25 to 45 minutes. So there we go. Again, tornado warning here in eastern North Carolina, Craven and Jones counties. It includes you in Maysville. However, this storm is to your east of you, and then Pollexville and some of these rural areas south of New Bern until 2:15 p.m. So we'll continue to monitor the latest here in eastern North Carolina, but I think this really paints the picture of the dynamics that we're facing with our overall winter storm. Remember, this is still the same storm system, but this is in the warm sector where we've got mild air, high dew points, and quite a bit of instability there, and not only in North Carolina, but also getting down into Florida. All right. We want to go back to the snow side of things because things are really starting to ramp up now, especially around Baltimore and into southern Pennsylvania. Philadelphia has the snow picked up. I'm trying to look at your shot. It looks like it has, Mike.
Yes, it has. Look at this, Chris. Not a snow globe yet, but it will be. Visibility at the airport about 10 miles south of here, now a half-mile moderate. They've dropped to 31. My thermometer here is at 30.5. So we're just below freezing. The suburbs are in the upper 20s. As the snow is flying, you can see on the radar how it's moving southwest to northeast. Rain snow line well to our south right now. But again, this evening and overnight, that will propagate towards the Delaware River and towards Philadelphia, and that's why we think accumulations here in Center City will be less, maybe by about half, than for those of you watching from the suburbs out around King of Prussia, Chesterbrook, over into northern Bucks and Montgomery counties. Those areas could get as much as 10 to 12 inches of snow. And remember, last year we had 1/3 of an inch all winter. Well, I can tell you right now, we've got that much. So literally in about an hour, we have eclipsed all of last year's snowfall in Philadelphia. They average about 24 inches a year. And the last time they had 1 inch of snow, Chris, was 652 days ago, almost 2 years ago. So much for the snow drought. I don't think anybody's really complaining. A lot of people at home, working from home, a lot of folks going to school at home. So it really cuts down on the impacts as far as to and from, but you can see the roads right now, Chris, starting to get snow covered here in Center City.
So really quickly, how long would you say it took for the roads to start getting snow covered? So people who haven't gotten the snow yet can kind of estimate, okay, once the snow starts, I got this much before the roads go downhill.
It took about a half an hour or so. You know, you have to have the intensity pick up.
Yeah.
Temperatures here, you know, right around 32, 31. But again, farther north and west, it's colder. So the roads will get covered quicker, even if they've been treated. These roads have been treated. They were pre-treated, and so this is what happens when the intensity picks up. You're fighting the intensity versus the fact that we have a low sun angle and the fact temperatures have now fallen just below freezing.
All right, so let's get a look at that forecast. Again, expect several inches, especially north and to the west of downtown Philadelphia, whereas in areas near the river, so Penn Landing down towards the airport, maybe 1 to 3 inches, okay? So look at the difference here within 15, 20 miles. I mean, we're talking a difference of maybe 8 to 14 inches. All right. Now, the snow is really coming down to the south. We can show you this on the radar and what we're looking at currently. We want to show you Baltimore because, boy, is it coming down at the moment. Very heavy snow in the meantime. And we've actually gone over to snow back in D.C., too. So look at this. This is the Inner Harbor. I love this tower cam right now showing you just what it actually looks like. I mean, look at this. Look at the snow coming down. We've already got official reports, well, social media reports of people saying there's anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of snow, and it's really picked up in the last 20 minutes. Looks like another heavy band of snow is coming in. There we go. Look at this. Look at these darker blues setting up just to the south of Baltimore and about to work their way in. Notice, too, in D.C., we were in the pink, and there were a lot of reports of snow, then to sleet, and now it looks like we're changing back over to snow. So we may get another few inches before that warm nose tries to work in. So heavy snow in the meantime.